So, when last we left our heroes, what had at first been a spectacular performance, a great opening night here in Escadar, and a spectacular show to warm up the crowd, fell apart. Well, it hasn't fallen entirely apart, but it is certainly well on the road to ending in disaster, and it is all thanks to one Delamar Gyanvin, an instigator who is, I'm pretty sure, certainly at this point, we're all assuming, sent by the Menagerie here for much the same reason that we have. Huh?
He probably came here on his own.
He's not even related. He just hates you guys. I hate neutral. Circuses.
Circi.
Is it?
No.
Legally, it would be, though, would it not?
No.
That's the rules. It ends in us. But
I wasn't aware a circus was an animal.
Doesn't have to be an animal. Grammatical conjugations aside, we found ourselves now here, assaulted under our own tents, and as we left off last week, right at the start of what is almost positive to descend, has already begun descending into a violent confrontation here, as Zerg had come around to security guard in the most effective way that he knows how, and certainly the way that this guy deserves, just getting punched in the goddamn mouth. He, of course, instantly took the opportunity to attempt to turn this on you, crying out that he, of course, is the simple, innocent bystander here as he reaches for his sword. And as we begin today's show, we're going to head immediately into initiative.
Yes.
Which I'm sure nobody has ever wanted so badly as right now.
Oh, please let me have it. I clicked the wrong button. Please let me have it.
You fool.
Fine.
Oh, you're a good man. Thank you.
I shouldn't do it, but I'm going to do it.
Oh, thank God.
Add you manually. Like the trash you are.
Uh,
Get on there.
Feels good.
Alrighty. Let me add Delamar himself.
I think my token is so small that I can't click it. I'm not sure.
I think your token's the same size as everybody else's, right?
I had to zoom in. No, I won't let me click it.
It is a relatively zoomed map here because this is a fairly large scale
gotta.
encounter.
Oh no, the hell farce is so ugly.
This tiny little box.
I know, they're terrible.
We've never really had much of anything to this scale before. A fight breaking out in our own big top, with hundreds of feet of space here under this newly expanded, ginormous tent that we've invested in. And let me have everything largely set up here. Well, my initiatives, which I can do via the actual initiative button, because that's a thing that I have now. He's busy posturing. Good news for everyone.
Nah.
He's not aiming to look like the aggressor here. And the other lady, not actually working when I click on the button, so I still have to manually roll it anyway. Such is life, as a wise man once told me. Bodyguard slightly more ready for action. And in the middle of the ring. Oh, maybe it's because I added them to the initiative table manually. That might actually be the problem. Because I forgot that I have a Roll20 module now. Now, Selwyn, you are the first to act here. And you are, at the moment, enshrouded in complete darkness, as is this entire left ring here. A circle of darkness that, to you would have no understanding of the boundaries of. You can just see blackness. Everybody else would be able to see basically a semisphere, a bubble that is moving along, and Selwyn nowhere to be seen. It's traveled from the center ring to the left ring.
I don't see the initiative table.
I don't either.
Keep
There
went
is.
away for some reason. I got you.
Yeah.
Hide and seek.
I will address the party. Not the circus. Aha! I bet you're all fooled. However, this is just one act of the elaborate circus performance. As you all know, we've had our run-ins with the Celestial Menagerie previously. So, while this may seem real, please do not forget, we're all trained actors here. Well, roll deception.
Okay. How many people? That's okay.
Oh.
Before we get excited,
Oh.
how many people can you group coercion? Because
Oh.
I don't think it's 200.
It is not. That would be intimidate.
Yeah, even with
just tell a
that,
broad lie.
you can tell a broad lie out to the crowd, but there's a lot of there's a huge audience with a huge assortment of mindsets. Some of them quite far away, and as the crowd is getting more and more raucous and loud, half of them probably can't even hear you.
Well, the
And
other
with
half,
being completely unable to see them, you have no idea how well that lands, really.
I'll frog and I'll ask into the smoke. Are you sure you want to do this? You know, work for that old asshole. It can be nice doing, I'll gesture out in the dark. All this.
And through this darkness, you'd hear this voice reply, "Like I said, only doing what I have to do. And I truly am sorry."
So, I feel like I'm saying this a lot, but you want a job?
Are you trying to diplomate with him?
I would like to, yeah.
Okay. Go and roll me a diplomacy. Please stop. You never made. This is your first interaction with this guy. You rolled two 20s and a 19 so far. There's no reply immediately. You don't hear or see anything in this darkness, just still the jeering crowd around you.
Well, the office open. I mean, it's not like I can do much in the smoke. I believe you're gonna follow me, and I'm gonna stay in darkness. So we can sit here, have a seat, have a talk, while the others are, well, punching, fighting, killing, whichever. I think it's more pleasant just talking. And I'll sit down.
Barkbeard, you are pretty fired from all this action here. But you are
I am
also
not, in
very
fact,
fast.
all that far. You would see this blur just shoot out, and it just vines and branches everywhere as I just shoot across the whole tent, and we'll go, I think, over here.
What's your speed?
35.
Oh yeah, 3 actions. This little sharper just
Whoosh!
he's pretty fast. There's gonna be all 3 of your actions, but you are a pretty swift little plant here. And as you rush over, so fast, arriving even before Zerg's fist connects with this guy's head, the strawberry just racing across the tent. The bodyguard in the back here calls out with a surprisingly booming voice out to the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, here in attendance today, you've done no wrong. You've made no poor decisions, save to bring your coin to this farce of a show. And now, at this first uproar, their response is swords and magic. Flee! Flee with what coin you have! And, calling out to the crowd here, her performance seeming only to further inspire the courage of Delamar in front of her. She then moves up towards Zerg. No weapons yet in her hand, but reaching down to her hip for a short, oddly curved kukri at her belt. And she reaches down as she ducks low, but doesn't actually draw the blade. She simply feints the action and continues moving on around, drawing Zerg's attention out behind. And she's going to make a roll against your perception DC here. It's going to be a 33.
Can't see shit.
Well, you can see it. It's distracting is what it is. She's got your attention, which is mechanically going to make you flat-footed to attacks.
You've been looking for an opportunity to give me flat-footed, haven't you? You've just been waiting for it. Big feet is hard to flat.
It's going to
All
take
right.
her entire turn to do it. Aramis.
Okay, so
You
I watched
still ignore it if they're lower level, then you would still get deny advantage.
like right there. I'm going to kind of. I saw someone disappear into the black hole, right? And that's the last thing I saw. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, more of the black kind of expanded around her mid-performance.
You would also hear me scream out from
Yeah,
the
you
cloud.
can hear her yelling for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna use. Actually. Yeah, I'm gonna use all 3 actions to get to inside it. Trying to get to someone. To here.
Okay. And as you move into the bubble, it's kind of interesting because you can see the edge of this field of darkness. And as you step forward through this sheet, everything just goes black around you. Everything plunges into complete darkness. Now, Zerg, I believe there was punching happening.
There's always punching happening with Zerg. So, wait, so... fuck me. Well, I'm punching Pinky. We're going to keep punching Pinky.
Okay.
But am I distracted? I was distracted. Is that going to
Your
affect me in any other way?
It's just going to make you flat-footed as you're kind of distracted defending yourself against her feinted attack rather
Right.
than, well, anybody else's actual attacks.
And how does that affect anything else for me? Like
It
flat-footed
doesn't.
means
It's just
I'm
your
easy to hit.
defenses. Yeah, you
Oh.
can still punch the hell out of Delamar.
Beautiful. Zerg does not need defenses. We have proven this. Zerg is unkillable. Zerg punch. Big punch.
Big punch. Alright, give me a big punch.
Is this gonna fucking work this week?
No, because I didn't fix it.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
21.
With a 21, you throw out, and as Delamar is already reaching down for his rapier, he ducks down under the blow. Surprisingly quick for a fairly large man.
Well, if he's bent down, then that's call for a knee to the face. With a 26.
Oh, that already has the -5, right? Because it's the second attack. Well, knee to the face is
Yeah.
going to find him.
Hell yeah. Duck under this. You pink-wearing pansy.
Oh, it does work. I rolled 2d4s.
Oh.
Oh.
10 knee bludgeoning damage to the face.
All right. A pretty solid strike is going to snap his head back as he rails upright. Blood flying from his nose.
Immediate left hook. 22.
With a 22, you actually almost catch him with that last follow-up. He just barely
Swipe
keeps himself out of the
me.
way of that.
Hook. I got one in.
And as you're just swinging here, this field of darkness, almost as soon as you enter it, Arbus, seems to disappear. The light restored Selwyn finding herself mid the left side of this ring here, and Blue, which is your first meeting with him.
No, I met him in the back briefly.
Right,
With,
Selwyn. Selwyn hasn't met him.
Selwyn
You and Barkbeard met him, right? It was you and Barkbeard? Or you and Ara?
Ara.
Aura.
You and Ara. It was you
Ara
and
and Arbus.
Aleshi met him, and then Zerg
That's
met him out
rude.
front. So
Wow.
Wow.
Ara and Arbus, or bleh, Barkbeard and Selwyn. It'll be your first time seeing this man. His long horns and his green jacket, as he stands upright here, facing towards Selwyn, pretty tall, kind of turned half away from her. Ain't right, at least not given a sporting chance, I suppose. But you best defend yourself. And he reaches down under his jacket and with a single motion whips out a dagger towards you, swinging as he draws it. And that swipe is going to come for a 21 towards Selwyn.
And I just barely get out of the way.
And he kind of smirks a bit. That's pretty good. You learned. And kind of breathes in, gets a little tall, and then blows out a stream of dark, thick smoke from seemingly nowhere. And the smoke doesn't blow far. He just blows it out kind of in a cloud in front of his mouth where it twists and twirls around him, largely concealing him from view. At least concealing exactly where he is. Wow, I can't really use icons on this map. Okay.
No. Yeah.
Before a dagger just flashes out from it, slicing down towards you again. For a 22.
That one will connect.
As he gets you with the dagger, you are going to take 7 points of piercing damage, but also this strange smoke kind of clings around the blade. It's going to do an additional 2 points of poison damage to you, and I need you to make me a fortitude save.
Okie dokie. 23.
With a 23, as you feel it strike, the smoke almost winds its way into the cut, like an intelligent item itself, like he's commanding it, and you feel it kind of burn a bit. But you snap away from it fast enough and hold yourself firm. It's not going to do anything worse than just that little bit of damage that it did. And Arbus, at the end of this turn, you are going to get a hero point once more from Wolf 13 Red here. Hero points for the Wolf Druid from one wolf to the other.
Yeah, thank you.
Take that.
Wolfpack. Strong.
And bring us to Ara.
Zerg, Barkbeard, I need y'all to come this way a little bit, away from the crowd, please.
A little busy.
And you still have the big statue of Lizard Man here next to you.
I know, it's my motivational support anchor. I'm gonna move myself, I think right here. I've been trying to pre-measure everything, and I'm still measuring everything horribly, horribly wrong.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
No!
Too soon.
Yeah, I love it.
The statue, the Bastion.
Yeah, I use one movement to come here,
Okay.
and then I'm going to, I forgot all my words.
The lizard has distracted you.
Reach spell elemental toss at Lady Ugly over here.
That's rude.
Don't know speak word.
Caught
gonna
up in
do-
the magnificence of his creation.
I'm gonna throw a 25 at her.
25 will definitely hit.
for 18 fire damage.
Alrighty. And she takes that. It hits her pretty hard. She doesn't seem to be a terribly sturdy bodyguard here as she continues
Please.
performing.
Please go away.
Go away, please.
Go away, please. And Delamar, as he gets popped, kind of reels back, puts one hand back up to kind of guard his face a bit, and reaches down and grabs his rapier with the other. Look! They set upon me the slightest provocation! These vandals, these barbarians! And whips out a rapier from his hip, slashing it out towards Zerg as he draws it. And due to the bodyguard's distraction, you are going to be flat-footed to this. And you would get deny advantage, but he is higher level than you.
Great.
And he is going to slash out for a 28 to your flat-footed.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Does that crit or just hit?
It just hits. Zerg's still aware of everything going on around, blinded by his own green fists flying through the air.
Just
Not
throw
seeing
in
the
hand.
shiny rapier flying towards him through the air.
And as you're distracted, as your defenses are kind of turned towards this bodyguard, he gets a pretty vital strike on you. He's going to catch you for 15 damage. And then he is going to slash out once more for a 29. That one's against your regular AC. You realize who's stabbing
Yeah.
you now.
Yeah, he's managed to get 2 little rapier stabs into Zerg's abdomen
Yeah.
region.
As your attention is turned his way, the second hit is going to be markedly less effective, only striking you for 11. And he is going to move back and hop up and actually retreat up into the stands, into the crowd here, calling out to the crowd around him, "Somebody help! Defend me from this monster!"
As he leaps back, Zerg finally realizing he's been stabbed twice, looks down. Not a monster, the monster, and rages out. Full ape mode, mohawk puffing up, back and shoulder hair, all out. Ape man, here he fucking comes. And I can flip my little thing. How do I flip it?
You can flip the little thing, but for some reason it's not letting me flip that one. So here, let me just. That token might be dumb. That might be old. Yeah,
Oh,
here's a
there's two
backup
Zerg.
token. Use this backup token. The
Thanks.
backup token will work better.
Thanks.
And
You flip.
there
it
is your ape form.
Ah!
Alright, Selwyn.
I'll cock him a grin. Well, make sure you give up before you die. And I'll try to intimidate him. For 33.
And what are these rolls from Selwyn? 33 is going to critically succeed, and as you look at it, you can't see much of him, but you catch a glimpse through this swirling smoke around him of a bit of legitimate fear, an actual terror across this man's face.
And I'll stab with a twin feint. See, there's the first one. A free. Which I do not believe will connect.
It is not going to, no.
Yeah. But then, it was merely a feint. Twin feint, if you will. And the second attack is a 24. That gets his flat.
24, go ahead and roll me a flat check. There's
Yes.
enough smoke clinging around him, he's a bit concealed.
14.
Yep, 24 will land.
Or 21 damage. Oh god.
Jeez. Wow.
Arm is
Jeez.
so big.
What a stab.
No, it's more of the giant Arbus token to the southeast.
Why is there a giant Arbus token? What the heck? Did you try to drag your token out?
I pressed token button and that happened. I don't know. I don't know.
All right. As you, he recoils, the smoke kind of cascades away from you a little bit here as he staggers back from this blow. Oh! No, you can certainly fight, little ass.
To be fair, you are ruining our show a little bit. You gotta agree. And you did stab me.
Also stab.
I'm not saying I didn't deserve it.
I'm just saying, lay down your arms. We can talk like this, like adults. Or I can keep beating you, and then you'll join the circus afterwards. You know?
Blackbeard.
Ah, yes, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me, okay. And then I'm just gonna, like, shove as hard as I can to get him off of the, bleachers.
All right.
That's here. 27.
27's gonna succeed, and as you shove him back off of the bleachers, he is going to fall down, probably about 8 feet or so, and he's gonna land prone and take some bludgeoning damage as he takes a fairly hard fall off the side of this. I see 1 action.
And then I will, yes, good to see you all, yes, I'm glad you're enjoying things, and I'm gonna climb down the side of the bleachers to right in front of him.
All right. The bodyguard, having taken this fire, looking over towards Ara, as she continues to call out, "They fling fire! They swing swords! Falling back immediately to brutish violence, sowing death at this brief lapse in their facade! Look upon their truth, good people of Escadar!" And then, much quieter, pull a hand up in front of herself and with a gesture, "Similitudo!" and cast a spell. And she is going to split into several images. I guess it would be 4, whatever was higher than a trio, a quartet of these bodyguards now standing, all acting in unison. And get unclear which one is the actual bodyguard. Arbus.
God, I wish you would do it at rhyme.
Seeing a Blue Man group attack Selwyn and stuff, I'll lean in and get away from her, you bitch, and then
Well, hold on a second.
clouds started to appear around her, and I'll boom as I Tempest Surge. Bang. That's not that great.
Well,
Perfect damage.
first of all, I am actually going to need you to roll me a flat check, because in 2nd edition, the concealed condition also applies to any spells that target a specific person.
Question: is he concealed by anything that would be considered natural, like weatherish?
It's smoke he's blowing out. If it was like a fog, I'd give it to you, but it's this smoke that he seems to be able to actively control.
Okay, flat check. D20.
Just high roll forehead.
Just don't low roll. Doesn't have to be high. It just has to not be low.
14.
That'll do. 14 will definitely come through. Find that target, and he... attempting to dodge out of the way. It's going to react fairly quickly with a 24.
Success.
Still going to take half of that, though, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So still going to take 8 electric damage and leaving you with 1 action.
Seeing him take it, not the greatest shot. I'm just gonna inch my shield up and keep my mean mug on.
All right, Zerg.
Yep, that's me. Oh boy. Well, I've seen him back up, so I'ma charge him. I'ma get up nice and close and swing a big old monkey paw. Actually, you know what? He's standing up on the thing, right?
Well,
No,
he got
he got
pushed
pushed
down.
down.
He's laying on the ground now.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will attempt to grapple, I guess, by grabbing the front of his gambeson. I just want to hold him by the shirt.
Hold him down. All right. me
What's
athletics
that? Is
check.
that athletics? 23 to hold him by the shirt.
23 is definitely gonna grab a hold of him.
Uh-oh.
He's on
And I'm gonna
he's
pick him
prone,
up
he's
off
on
the
the ground. He
ground.
got knocked over and you're just holding him.
I'm gonna pick him up. Is that also athletics?
Um,
I'm pretty strong.
you are pretty strong here. Yeah, give me another. You can give me another athletics check.
And he's the ape form.
Okay, 21.
21 is he's resisting here. He's not exactly just letting you grab on it. He's a pretty quick dude. He's not gonna let you do any more than just grab hold of him. So he's down. You've got him, but he's writhing and twisting away too much. You don't have like a solid grasp of him. You're just kind of like you literally have his shirt.
With my free hand, I'm gonna go for a body punch. If it
I'll
wants
give it
to.
you. I'll give you.
There it is.
action.
The 19.
And the 19 as you swing, he's just barely going to be able to twist away from that, rolling really
Just
on the
punching
ground.
the ground around him while holding onto his shirt. Stop moving!
As it comes around to blue, the smoke's going to kind of fade a bit, and you'll see him blow it back out to keep this cloud intact around him. And you see it twist down around his dagger again. Now there, I think this has come to a bit of a matter of personal honor for me at this point. And the dagger flicks out again as he stabs it down towards you. For a 22.
That'll connect. If only exactly.
He's just barely catching you. With the poison and the piercing damage together, you're going to take 11. And I'm going to need you to make me another fortitude save.
Of course. 29.
Still perfectly solid.
Yeah.
And then he is going to actually step back as his cloud kind of withdraw a little bit. Ara.
So, if I drop a fireball right here.
No, don't.
No.
If I drop it right here, it won't hit the crowd or Selwyn. Based on the chart I'm looking at.
It's actually just on me.
Definitely going to hit someone. So as you
'Cause
fling your
from the-
fireball out.
That's 20.
'Cause- Well, from the burst charts, it would start in the corner right here and go down 4, down to
It's
down to
looking
here, and then
like
reach
it's
out.
hitting exactly on Selwyn.
Yeah, it's definitely exactly hitting me.
As you
Is-
realistically in the heat of battle fling out a fireball here as
Yeah.
everyone's moving around. I mean, if you want to do it, I'll give you 50-50 just flat D20 to see if it hits Selwyn or not. If you're flinging it.
Yeah, I'm doing it. There's
Alright,
4 of her now. Selwyn, there's 4 of her now.
With a 9 on the low there, that is also going to catch Selwyn too. As an explosion of fire takes the northern half of the left ring. But it's also definitely going to hit the bodyguard and blue.
Oh, whoa.
Woo! Selwyn critically succeeds!
Yeah, so see, someone can dodge it.
Easy.
Yeah.
Blue is going to
Yeah.
regular succeed. And the bodyguard is going to critically fail.
Oh,
No.
no.
The duality of man.
The duality of man, indeed.
So it's 17 damage.
So Blue's going to take 8. The lady's going to take 34 as this blasts across here mirror images. It's not going to do anything to her images as it washes across all of them, but you see all of them scorched, reeling. And from this wall of smoke here, you see this dagger come out again. This green mist trailing behind it as it just drops into the left ring. All right, I know when I'm done.
Perfect.
Oh, hi
Good
Green,
showing.
I didn't see you there. And then I'm gonna look at the lady and say, I asked you once to please stop, and use my last action to intimidate.
Now, I hate raiding on your parade, but there's 0% chance you're in range.
It is
yeah,
the 30
you're
foot
right.
range.
You're right.
But it looks like it's not be successful
It
regardless.
doesn't matter anyways.
Delamar here, held on the ground. He's in the bad times. He is, from what position he has, trying to twist his rapier around, looking like he's just gonna slash it across you. But at the last moment, pull it back and try to swing from the other side. He's also gonna try to feint you. And this is gonna be against your perception DC once more. A 25. It's probably close.
Of my perception?
Your perception
Modifier?
DC. The DC's 10 plus your modifier.
Oh! And what did he go for?
25.
Oh, well, yeah, that'll do it. He still got me, but I was right. I didn't realize it was 10 plus. I'm like,
The last one was like a
shit.
29 or something, so I'm pretty sure I was
Oh,
coming
then-
through regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, anytime it's a DC, it's 10 plus your modifier.
10
'Cause
plus.
it's-
All right, I'll remember
Yeah.
that.
Because it's basically the old roll off from first edition, but only one person has to roll. They said to be your average. It's as if you rolled 10. So as he feints this around and brings his rapier up from the other side to stab at you as you're grabbing onto him here, he is prone. He is also inspired, so he's going to be at a net -1. You're flat-footed, and he's going to thrust out with a 35.
Ooh!
Ooh.
Yeah, that'll crit.
As you're kind of looming over him here, you've given him about the perfect opportunity to just have big, meaty target in front of him. And he thrusts his rapier in for 28 piercing damage.
Just howling out in pain. Not letting go of my grip, but fuck, that hurts.
And then he is going to attempt to escape from you. It's a second action, so it's at a -5. Versus you have fucking 12. He's not getting away from Zerg today.
Not now.
He's
I
very
think that
held
crit
down.
fails.
Yeah, it does crit fail, which means he can't continue escaping this turn, but that's his third action anyway.
okay.
Selwyn.
All right. Well, glad you came to your senses based on Alfred Green. He called you Green. Is that true? He obviously always gets things wrong. I don't think I caught your name.
I hardly think this is the time. We're having a perfectly reasonable duel. And your little plant here saw fit to interfere. Look, I'm done. I won't harm your circus no further.
But what about the job off? Well, I didn't ask them to interfere.
He looks over to a gorilla punching the shit out of Delamar on the ground while he's getting stabbed as the smoke kind of fades from around him. Now, I'm not looking to give you life advice, but this does look hardly the time.
Come on. Okay, hold on, and I'll drop my weapons and sprint up to her, and I'll twin feint her.
Oh my god.
Stand by, run up.
Excuse me. For a 25 on the first hit.
Roll me a d4.
Yep.
4 is her.
Yep.
The
Get an
two,
image.
you're gonna slash through one of her mirror images, leaving 3 left.
And I will attempt to hit him with a feint. Oh wait, that's an attack number 3.
That'd be 5 higher, but
Yeah,
4 higher. Yeah, that second swing is not going to critically fail. So it is still going to slash away another one of her images, leaving just a pair of this bodyguard here.
Punch away one of her images. I'm not trying to kill this woman.
Oh, you're just punching. Okay. Well, you
Yeah,
punched
drop my
2 of them
weapons.
out, leaving 2 left. Barkbeard.
Okay, I am. My roots are gonna kind of grip down, and then I'm just gonna wallop this man in front of me. But are we like visible from the people in the bleachers?
Yeah, this is a crowd of Escadar peasants who have come to see a circus. So they're absolutely the kind of people who are going to be leaning over the edge to watch, not that are really... I mean, obviously some pulling their kids away, trying to get distance. There's some ensuing panic now, but most of them are just like, ooh, a fight. And since this is more interesting, the circus they paid for at the moment. Yeah, they can pay.
That's what I'm going to, as I start, like, as my roots start gripping down, and as my, like, my branches start swinging, I'm gonna start this chant, just like, fight, 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 and try and get a little bit of the atmosphere going. With a 21.
21, even given his situation, he is still going to be able to manage to just barely wiggle away from. He's still holding his own fairly well.
Okay. Alright, I will do the second strike. 22.
22 will get him.
So it's 14 damage. And then I'm also going to try and grab him. I'm also going to try and grab him. So yes.
Okay. Grab on. Everyone just pile
This is
in.
minus 10. Oh man. Okay, so yeah, no, I'm trying to like pump up the crowd a bit here.
All right, yeah, 17 minus 10, so a 7.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to critically fail, and as you attempt to grab on him as you're pounding here, he twists over and gets a boot up and kicks out, knocking you prone.
Okay.
And the bodyguard, as you approach and 2 of her clones are shattered here, is going to stop her boasting immediately and call out, staggering back in pain from the fireball. Oh, you're on your own, Delamar! In Huisa Pulitas! And cast a spell and disappear from sight.
Bye.
Thank
What a
you.
nice lady.
Very polite.
Yeah.
Aravis.
I saw someone ignore that, go after her, switch my focus to the battle that's happening with Zerg up there, and I'm gonna start moving that direction.
Okay.
Two move strides, I guess, to get to here, and then we have 1, so I just raised my shield, I guess.
You just advance on them, shield. Oh, jeez, my zoom. You just advance on them. Why can't I zoom all the way to the top, Roll20? Just leave it there. Stop resetting. Thank you. Why you do this, Roll20? His advancing shield raised to Zerg.
Who is gonna ground pound on this motherfucker?
He's down and he's not feeling. That's what Barkbeard's doing.
25 with an 8 fist.
Absolutely gonna hit.
And I have a special damage roller for my Raging Monkey Strike.
You do, yes. Did I fix that? Oh no.
I hope so, because I'm going to press it.
Wait, don't press it yet. Don't press it yet. Don't press it yet. Don't press it yet. Don't press
Oh,
it
wait,
yet.
no,
Don't press it yet. Press it.
There you go.
I got
Press
you.
it.
Press it.
Yeah.
I press it. Can I press it? I press
Yeah,
it.
you press it. Press it.
24 bludgeoning
Holy
damage.
Oh my god.
Did that roll
Work.
3? There's 3 dice there. Then we both had 1 and we gave him 3.
I think we might have given him free.
I mean, it's canon
And
now.
I got all
so,
excited about my 24 bludgeoning damage from my monkey fist.
I feel like he has to keep
I'll
it
give it
because
to him
was,
for that one. You punched him for 24. That's on us.
Whoops.
Thanks.
Ow.
Just a sudden burst of excitement from the fist.
I fixed it now. That was a hell of a monkey punch, though. Zerg man.
How's he looking
He's
after copping that,
I mean,
that
it's
monkey?
pretty solid hit,
like
but he's still decently all right. He seems to be significantly more of a hardened fighter than the other 2 that he come with him. And he doesn't seem like he's interested in surrendering yet.
I'm going to loosen my grip to grab him by the ankle.
You want to kind of re-grab him?
Yeah.
All right, give me athletics at a -5 here.
15.
15. As you kind of go to switch your grip and he kicks away from Barkbeard, he's going to scrabble away from both of you. He's still on the ground, but you don't have a hold of him anymore.
What's the penalty if I try again for the grab on the ankle?
It's -10. Just grabbing at this man as he's trying to get away.
Well, yeah, that didn't work. I'm swiping, basically trying to get a better grip. No
Alright,
dice.
So, Blue is going to stagger over a bit towards your backstage curtain and just sort of drop down to a knee as he leaves this almost this phantasm of green smoke behind him as he walks, and stop there to catch his breath. And as he does, he'll start patting down at his pockets, reach into one of his front pockets and pull out a cigarette. Aura.
I really just want to light that cigarette. I have no way to do that from here.
Produce flame.
Get a produce flame on the cigarette. Let's not kill Blue. I'm gonna move here. Aura's gonna stare at Delamar. I said his name right. And cast Fear because I still have that spell.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's just a will save, right?
Let me pop that up real fast. Yes, it is correct. A will save.
Alrighty, what's he got? He's gonna get a 30.
Oh, he succeeds.
So he's still
Just
frightened
succeed.
1 from that.
Yes.
And that brings us to him. He is on the ground. You both have lost hold of him. And he's going to kind of twist a bit and kind of kip up onto his feet as he kicks Barkbeard back. And continue, now pretty injured and bloodied here as he's been quite literally pounded into the dirt, continuing to fight out. Nonsense! Ridiculous! And try again to take this fainting strike towards Zerg. He's going to feint him with a 20, which is actually going to fail. So Zerg is not flat-footed, but he's going to strike out regardless. He is just frightened now. He's not inspired courage or anything anymore. Lashing out with a 31 towards Zerg, who is AC 22, so it does not critically hit because he's not flat-footed. And is no longer inspired. He's going to stab him for 8 points of piercing damage. Selwyn.
I will yell at Zerg. Well, try not to kill him right now. We'll interrogate him in the back and I'll run down. You got a spare?
Interrogate him in the back. Alright. You ran down on what? Sorry.
They weren't listening when I was trying to rile them up about this being an act. They won't listen to me now.
Alright, then you're just gonna run over to Blue.
Yeah, well, I have no idea if he has a spare.
With the grimace. Reaches down, patting. I'm getting low, but
I'll reimburse
you had my number, with or without your friend's assistance. Here.
Thanks, that I'll light the smoke and also start smoking.
Barkbeard.
Well, I guess I should get up. Getting up seems like a good idea. So I'm gonna get up. And, but as I get up, I'm gonna try and grab one of his ankles. And I am going to try and grapple this man.
Okay.
Well, I feel like I should really grapple this man. So I'm gonna session reroll that.
Oh my god, she's using one?
We're doing it!
I know.
Friends using
I
a
know.
reroll mechanic.
Well, it's a 22. It's better than it was.
22
Not
will
great.
grab onto him, because grappling is more sheer strength. He's going to only so effectively dodge away from just grabbing out towards him with a bunch of branches.
So I grab him, and he feels my grab, and it's like iron, and it's actually just gonna crush his ankle, and he is going to take 4 bludgeoning damage.
What is this?
Crushing grab.
Ooh. Okay.
So I'm going to have him grabbed, and then
That's new and neat.
it is new and neat. And then Can I? Well, I guess he's super high reflex. And then I'm just going to. I have one branch holding him. The other two are just gonna come, try and smack him around a little bit. He'll be fine. So this is at
This is
-5.
your second attack.
So 19.
19's not gonna catch him. Even while you got a
And
hold of
then
him.
the second one of the that one's really bad. Okay. And then I will, as I have him grabbed, I'm just going to slide my shield out of my head. I'm going to slide it out and just kind of put it around me in front of. I'm still holding his leg, and I'm just going to put it around in front.
Stand up, grab, flurry.
Oh, stand up. I forgot stand up.
Okay.
Right.
Reaching for the shield, but we can't get it till next turn. Arvis.
All right, I heard Selwyn call out her wishes for this man to be alive, so that changes my thinking. And I'm going
Less
in.
lightning.
Less lightning. Go into here behind Zerg, who I see, he's trying to pound this man to death with his bare hands. And I'm going to pull my glove a little tighter and put my hand on his back. And I'm going to do battle medicine, but in a different way. Where it's a little tingly, a little electricity. Try to battle medicine him through the back. I'm gonna roll that first, I guess.
A little bit of assistive shock therapy. All right.
Yeah, I like that. Assistive shock therapy. Okay, I'm gonna obviously expert. He needs some help.
He's looking pretty hurt. He's been run through with a rapier pretty well.
That's a 19. It's been 19 so many times.
One. That's 20, right? CG 20. One off succeeding. So you reach out and put your hand on him, and as you try to treat him quickly there with this new lightning, I mean, Gosra favors the bold here, and your new whole plan here, possibly do this through divine means, with a little bit of both your medicine skill and a bit of light magic, seems to bear fruit. That's gonna succeed.
I figured that out one day.
I have never met a man who has gotten so many one-offs.
Yeah.
It's actually like I feel like it's
nutty.
every other medicine check he's one off.
Yeah.
Gosra is stepping in here.
Gosra for rides.
Gosra provides.
I am 2d8 plus 10, right?
2d8 plus 10, yeah.
Okay, for my giant ape friend, 21 HP.
21 health to Zerg.
Now, however, with my hand on there and doing that, I'm just gonna whisper to him, "Don't kill him." And I have my animal calming glove on, so I don't know. Is there something that would stop his rage? I'm just saying.
What kind of animal do you take Cirque for?
He's a giant monkey.
An ape, obviously. Like, yeah, you do have your animal calming glove on. He's got this bestial rage. I'm not gonna leave that to Zerg's choice here. How he responds, because it is his turn.
Well,
So
as
actually-
this soothing thought comes through my head of don't kill him, don't kill him.
You would feel this soothing magic and you would hear Arabis's words, but you would not. You definitely wouldn't feel any kind of magic from the gloves, to be sure. Maybe a bit of Arabis's minor cantrips herself.
That is going to spur on a moment of clarity for Zerg in his ape form. Understanding the situation, understanding the circumstances, hearing the words, this clarity will assure that Zerg doesn't kill the man. He's still going to
Okay.
punch him.
You want to punch him
He's-
non-lethally? Because
Um,
I believe it's still a
all
thing.
punches technically not lethal anyway.
Your monkey punches
are
are.
your monkey fist or not, because they are like enraged monkey slams. However, you can attack non-lethally with any weapon. You just give yourself a -4 penalty, because you're not really. Because the whole point of your monkey fist is its brute, raw, overpowering strength, and reining that in makes it a little harder to hurt with them. But if you do, it will be non-lethal damage, and it will be just as much damage.
Okay.
There's a -2 when it's unarmed.
Oh, -2 if it's unarmed. Fair enough. So -2 then, and you could swing non-lethally.
Well, you know what? Again, clarity, understanding the situation. Zerg's gonna go for a grab again.
Barkbeard is holding him at the moment. Barkbeard did manage to grab the ankle.
Oh, it's just -2 period.
So I'm just gonna try and pin it, like really pin
Okay.
him down, like hands on the shoulders.
Give me this
Kind of.
athletics.
27.
27, just not enough to really fully restrain him. But you
Fucking
grab onto
Jesus.
an arm. He's a quick dude and he's a pretty big guy. Barkbeard's got an ankle. You've got this like the shoulder of his shirt. You've got him pretty well held in place. He can't easily get away from you guys, but he can still fight. He's flat-footed. It'll be easier to hit.
I'm going to scream a giant monkey roar into his face to intimidate him.
I love
Teeth open, dripping like drool onto his own face, and
it. Moment of clarity into wordless screaming ape. True
just to
combo.
scare him.
Yeah. No, it's a fully wow.
Oh, nice. Ah.
I would
Yeah,
be scared.
he's pretty
How's he
scared.
feeling?
He's pretty scared. He's scared. He's very scared. He's terrified, I would say, in fact. And almost like stops entirely for a moment. And Ara.
Gonna. Oh, that's not moving. I'm gonna move over here and sit on the ground next to Green. And just watch.
He turns and looks down to you as he's pulling out his lighter. Well, I'd offer you one too, but I feel like getting fire too close to your little frame might be a bit dangerous for you.
Does he still have an unlit cigarette in his hand?
He does.
I just want to reach up and just light it.
He doesn't immediately have a response for that. But Delamar, who is very scared, very grappled, and has seen Arubis heal this monkey that just screams in his face. He's gonna turn. I'm really kind of unsure of how to proceed here. And he's just gonna try to, turning his rapier aside, twist away from the pair of your grasps. But as he does, he just flips his rapier around and stabs it back almost underhanded towards Zerg. He's gonna try to feint you again. With the 17, he's definitely gonna fail. Yeah, you're not flat-footed. And then, okay, he's frightened 2. It's actually the only thing affecting his attacks right now. He's gonna stab out at you with a 19. And failing both of those, cast his rapier down onto the ground and turn up to the faces in the bleachers, looking down at him. They mean to kill me! Will someone not come to my aid? The gods! Anyone! And Selwyn's chilling. You're probably too far away to hear more than just like kind of wordless shouting from the other side of the
I'm
screen.
gonna have the puff of the smoke. He really has a flair for the magic, doesn't he?
He turns away from Ara here. We could sit here all night and I couldn't tell you the half of it.
I believe that.
Vargbeard?
I'm going to try and duck under Zerg's arm and get around to the backside of this guy. Just kind of wrapping my branch around, and I'm going to. Who doesn't like a good noble bashing? And I'm going to shove him out and try and shove him out into the ring.
He is immobilized by Zerg at the moment.
Zerg, would you like
Zerg's got
to
a
help me
hold of
out
him.
here? I feel we could use a demonstration. Are you gonna let me? I'm gonna move him up. I'm gonna shove him up next to Zerg, so it wouldn't really be breaking Zerg's grasp.
Okay, give me a shove. Give me athletics.
Okay, let's see here.
Is Frightened 1 still.
29.
He'll critically succeed because he's still pretty spooked, so you're gonna shove him entirely past Zerg up next to Arvis.
Oh, perfect. This way, Zerg. And now I'm going to get my shield out and kind of use it as a wall. I'm gonna try and kind of move us along here. That's my
Arvis?
turn.
Just sort of standing there watching, with hands at my sides, just not know what to do, just sort of watching them muscle this guy around as I'm just sort of here.
Oh my god! Just knock him out already!
So Zerg, as your moment of clarity comes to an end, I mean, you can't just use it again. You can use it as much as you want. It just takes an action.
You can too. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I actually went to check because you can only do it once per rage in first edition, but it's just an action. You can do it as much as you want. It just means you basically only get to act twice that turn instead of 3 times.
I'll stay clear. I still look angry, but I don't feel angry. Yeah. And I guess
Calm, gorilla.
if I'm coming along with Barkbeard, where are we going?
Make a demonstration. Everybody likes to fight.
I was going to speak, but I'm not sure if Rage Zerg really speaks much. It's more animal yelling.
You can. Your form doesn't stop you from talking, I don't think.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I get it from a flavor perspective. I'm just saying the rules don't stop you from doing it. But I totally am on board with the flavor stopping you from doing it.
Plus, the teeth are too big. He can't really, like... You remember Planet of the Apes when they all had speech impediments because they couldn't talk through the teeth? That's kind of how it sounds, so he just doesn't.
What do you want to do, Zerg?
Zerg's just gonna... Well, I've got him pinned. I've got him terrified. I would like to try and drag him to the center.
Go give me one athletics shake here.
Of course.
31?
Of course it is. So, at this point, his weapon discarded, his battle clearly lost here. Him now appealing to the mercy of the crowd. You grab a hold of him as Barkbeard shoves him along, and you bodily haul him out into the center ring.
Getting less monkey with every step.
I'll put out the smoke, bust myself off. Well, can't leave these people without guidance for too long. We'll speak after.
And Blue just nods.
And
I
I'll
know where
walk
better
into
to be.
I'll walk into the center of the ring.
And as Delmar is getting dragged, literally just boots dragging across the dirt at the bottom of the tent as he gets hauled into the center ring, he calls out, "Is there not one among you who would come to my aid? Surely your numbers! There are but 5 of these vandals! You would let them disgrace our good city so!" And looking around,
Who is ready for a show?
kind of in a
I'm gonna
panic,
call out.
as he looks around the group here. Shale! Blue! Assist
Elamar.
me! As he calls back, and he just takes another drag of his cigarette.
What a lovely surprise.
I don't think I will. He's still just
Now,
sitting.
Delmar, I'll give you a chance we don't give most. I'll give you one chance now to scream out to the rest of the circus, the way you've been doing so cordially so far, about all your intents and purposes here.
And he just spits
Or-
in your face.
Yes, I expected that reaction. However, counteroffer, or we drag you out back and slit your throat.
We could do that here. It'd be more entertaining.
It would be, but it'll also be pretty barbaric.
Nonsense!
Oh, we are barbarians.
I
say.
call you bluff. Ridiculous. You do no
I am
such thing to me.
Okay, sorry, Margaret, do you have any cutting?
I start dragging him.
No,
dragging him.
please! Please, I'm begging you!
Okay,
All right, stop.
all right. The floor is still hold him though. Floor is yours.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
What do you expect from me? What do you think I can do?
I think you can tell you exactly why you're here. To these good people.
Look,
The good
you've
people
clearly
of
bested
Escadar.
our efforts. Please, just let me go. This is your show. You can't expect me to run it.
I'm not expecting you to run it.
you
I'm
better
just
start-
expecting you to come clean. Rid yourself of that guilty conscience weighing you down. Your sins.
Oh, look, the crowd is getting bored. We'd better start bashing.
Look, you think these people are going to care? These peasants. The
I stopped
uneducated
walking.
Care about
masses.
you.
They came here with their pennies for a show. Well, nothing I say will matter to them. Just unhand me.
No. Of course not. It's not for them. It's for us.
I still think he'd make a very good show. I feel like nothing like a good fight.
Well, look at him. He's barely conscious already.
He is pretty
Well?
beaten and bloodied and reeling at this point.
Now-
I'm sure people would love to see him crushed anyways.
No more lollygagging.
I
You've
don't
got your
want
choices.
5 of you bearing your arms against us. I can take
be
any
fair-
one of you in a fair and reasonable duel.
Well, how many fought you specifically? It was just 2, right?
Either way,
I think you
so
should be
maybe you
nicer,
can
huh?
continue. Yeah, do you still have your? Are you still ready to perform your act? Me and Zerg
Yes.
can take care of this man.
Well, Delamar, you have one more. One more chance.
I start dragging.
No! Good people of Escadar who've come here for a show! It is to my misfortune that I organized this
I want to
treachery!
put one of our flyers in his mouth.
Well, no, let him speak. Well, he's doing us a favor, ridding himself of a guilty conscience. Yep, come on. Sorry. We're not so civilized here. You understand? Given your pink gambits.
We
and all.
came with ill intentions to end your evening's entertainment! Please just let
And
the
from
Selwyn.
whom were you sent?
For our own. Who do you think?
Well, come on now. You've only cleared half of that. guilty
Ugh.
conscience.
We
Half truths lead
came to
the hell.
strong arm our new competition out of our good city of Escadar.
Thank you.
From
Zerg's gonna just like sort of pick him back up on his feet. Now that the deed is done.
Kind of kicking out. Will you unhand me?
Before you go, give me the gambeson. Give me your fancy shirt and then you can leave.
Well, that seems like a fair deal to me.
You stabbed me.
You jest. You beat me.
Well, I am a
You
guest
stabbed
sir.
me.
Also true.
Reaches up and just shrugs his gambeson off over his head, leaving this red undershirt, silk, pretty thin, drawn across him. And with that,
Thank
crowd-
you.
not as enjoying this as you are, starts to call and cheer again. And as you kind of have to release him for him to pull the shirt off, he pulls away from you as you do and kind of stumbles in the dirt a bit as he just takes off
All right,
towards
see you
the
later.
northern exit of the tent and just flees.
Now, with that distraction out of the way, good people of Escadar, let's continue the show.
Back to work. I sort of put on the pink gambeson just as much as my muscles will allow and just go resume my security duties.
Now, if you'll all
certainly
return to
gonna-
your seats.
Break a leg, everybody. Good show.
And as you all kind of disperse here, you can certainly tell that the excitement in the tent has dropped fairly tremendously. Much of the audience couldn't really see a whole lot of the fight, and they got to see a fireball get cast, but I mean, this is Galarian. Anyone can pretty much go anywhere to see a wizard do his work. It's not
Offensive.
terribly impressive to them. So you're losing them. But, that said, I believe you still had a main event to perform, Selwyn. And your
I
stuff
did.
is all still very much there in the center ring.
And let's dim the lights.
So as you
Get
bring the
prepared.
lights down and you head back over, Blue pulls himself up, gonna reach holding his side in pain to grab somebody's attention as they come backstage. So Zerg's going out to bounce. Selwyn's going to perform. So it'd be Barkbeard, Arabis, or Ara.
I would
been-
snap a few times. Arabis, Ara, could any of you heal this man up, please?
You want me to fix the man that tried to kill you?
Well, yeah, it was only light stabbing.
Only because you ask, Selwyn.
You're the best, Gray.
As he comes and he sees you walking toward him, I imagine Arabis doesn't look all too amused, most likely. Is that a correct assumption here?
Yeah, very correct. Very, very, very pouty.
And with his free hand, he just gestures, No, we've all come to peaceable terms here, I'd like to believe.
Let me tend to your wounds.
He looks down. Well, hardly in a position to deny your humble show of gratitude. And you are a far more pleasant hostess than I deserve. Please, lead the way.
Follow me. And I'll take him somewhere I can look at him.
As you take him around backstage, I imagine, to give him some tending to. The Selwyn goes on to take the stage. Sorry, you were so rudely interrupted.
I was. It's true.
Go forth, my friend.
Do I still have my Alchemist Fire?
I'll let you still have the Alchemist Fire.
Okay, thank you. Oh, that was an extra bonus. I'm getting all these
Now, you
bonuses.
do also still have a successful build-up that had led into this first trick check, because you didn't really get to start going. So you get a +2 from Ara's trick that had led into this.
Yeah.
You can
I
still
got a
try and
+1 from my
+1 from expending an Alchemist
alchemical.
Fire. So end up with a
Yes.
total of +3 on your first trick for the big number here.
Yes, and I'll pull down the mask once more. The jovial expression fading, and I will reignite the swords and launch into a performance as well as a dance. Looking at the crowd as I go past, looking as scary as I can, spitting, pirouetting, slashing around these dummies in the middle. Almost hitting it often, but never completely. And my first check is Intimidation.
Alrighty.
A 29.
A 29
It's one off.
is, yeah, one. I had to go double check what the DC was. That's with all those bonuses.
It is.
All right, so it's gonna be successful, just shy of critical success, as the crowd does start to settle back in to their seats here, enjoying the show that's happening before them, realizing that the performance is continuing. Obviously, the dimming of the lights got a lot of people's attention. You got their eyes back where they belong, Selwyn.
And I'll start doing flips around the dummies, slashing them as I do. Cutting off an arm, 2 arms, one of the hits, the other's arms. And let's see how I make the flourish.
So you don't get any of the buffs on this one here.
I am re-rolling that.
Okay.
Session reroll.
You do not get any of the +3 either, for what it's worth.
Ooh. No, I do not. It's very unfortunate.
So is that-
17 second.
17. So the second one, as you go to slice this up, your first performance here, you start off on a good foot, but the actual execution isn't something you've had nearly as much time to practice as your previous act. So what act's gonna fail? What happens?
Yes. I do the last hop, and I'm kind of failing as it's going on, but I still managed to get a slash off, and the dummy will be set alight, but not nearly as spectacularly as it would have been otherwise. And I'll take a bow and leave the center stage.
Remember the clowns. It's been a minute since we've done a circus.
Yeah, it's true. It's a failure. I could put it to a success. All right, I'll send in the clowns.
So
Can I be the clown?
You gotta flip this performance on its head from this slow, kind of intimidating dance with these flaming swords. They're like, just signal. And as they all come running in from the distance here, Tony Two Toes leading out your troop to come kind of divert their attention and get the crowd back on your side here. Get everyone back included, back involved. It's gonna turn that failure into a success. And yeah, you can lead the clowns here. I mean, they're playing into your act.
Yeah, and that'll be the end of my segment.
Diversion successful. So you get up with 2 successes there for a total of 10 excitement. You use 2 different checks, so you're going to get an extra 1. And a successful big number is going to add another 5 excitement to the show. So at the moment, as you wrap up the big number and head backstage, and you see Arabis tending to Blue here, you're doing a good recovery. The show isn't quite salvaged yet, but you still got the finale. You still got the big outro. You still got 3 acts to put on in the rings. You're at 34 excitement from 39 anticipation you've built up for this show. So things are looking good for a recovery here. As you make it backstage, as Blue's kind of been patched up, he's looking a lot better. Sort of bandages around his side, but he pulls his jacket around those largely to just cover him. He puts up a hand to hail Selwyn as she comes back. Hey, now, we got off on some fairly unfriendly terms there, but you showed me kindness nonetheless.
I find that anyone coming from that place deserves any kindness I can give.
Now, I've heard a bit of where you lot have come from with the Circus of Wayward Wonders. A little too new to recognize any faces, of course, but I can certainly see why you split. Here. It's hardly gonna do well to making up to stabbing you right and proper, but
Oh, it's
still
only
got
like
an
stabbing.
act to go, don't you?
We do.
You do the 3 rings?
Yes, we do the 3 rings.
Well, then just let me prove myself to you. Let me give you a little taste of the Smoke Dragon's value.
Oh, I'll start slow clapping. I love it.
I am arms
I
crossed,
join in.
staring at Selwyn with a glare right now.
What? It's brilliant.
Now, I haven't done much of anything to earn your respect or your trust, but I'm only one ring of your show out there. Even if I meant you harm, there's only so much I could do. Give me a shot?
It would be a stupid position to do it in, right?
Well, I can promise you that neither you nor that crowd is going to regret your decision.
Well, he's in. We need 2 more acts. Graham, you're in.
I don't want to perform with him.
Well, you know, you're not performing with him. You're performing in a different ring. Come on. We all
Fine.
deserve second
Fine.
chances, right? If you'd been under the yoke of Dusklight, would you not have wanted a second chance?
Already walk away. Go prepare.
All right. Now,
Sold.
we're the last.
One more to put out there.
We've had everyone in the party, right, dealt with, because
I believe everyone in the
Circus
party has had
is
an opportunity.
good
Yeah.
bodyguard, yeah. I'll do a clapping
We
backstage.
still have those rats.
We do have the rat. We didn't have the rats on. It's
And
true.
as you mentioned
Sniggles.
that, almost just kind of from the edge of your vision,
Oh my god, I'm
Sniggles.
so sorry.
shows up
Love
just
him.
edging over.
All right, Snails, you're up.
Oh, okay. What do I do?
Go out and do the performance that you've practiced. That's all.
Okay.
No matter what happens, you're not gonna top the, the brawl. So, just go out there, have fun.
I did see a lot of that. That wasn't the gang that had come back for us, was it? That wasn't my fault.
That was our gang that's come back for us. So we all deal with issues.
You guys pissed off a gang too?
Yeah, sort of.
Wow. The odds are really astronomical, but well, good company, I suppose. All right. I need a lot of things. Get them all together. And can you help me carry them?
Of course.
I want to help Sniggles.
I'll also help. And Markbeard, can you help too?
Yeah, sure can. Plenty.
And Blue still
plenty
standing here,
to
just
share.
kind of taps Sniggles on the shoulder. Like, I don't believe we've met, but he turns his hand over and he's got a cigarette in his hand. This is my last one, but you do seem a fair shake nervous. And the rat just looks at it. That's a lot smaller than most of the ones that I use. Will they be able to see it? And Lish just kind of hurries over and pushes Blue's hand away and just shakes her head. Now, just do your act, Sniggles. You got it. We worked on this. We practiced. I'll grab your things. Just get out there and do the show. This is what you wanted, right? Sniggles just nods incredibly enthusiastically. Blue just kind of laughs. I like her spunk. Where do you want me?
Which ring do you want?
Don't matter to me. I can head off to a side. You got this rat and your girl to take up their main bulk of the show.
All right. You'll take left ring. Gray will take center. Snake will take right.
As he nods and Sniggles and Lish and Kalim come out to help Sniggles carry a whole bunch of assorted fireworks and tubes and powders and lighting implements, torches, out in just a heap in the right ring. Everyone sets up and prepares for the finale. This, the send-off, the end of the whole show. Who wants to take the role first here? We want to go. Do you want to lead with Arabis? Or do you want to head into that to wrap it up?
I'll leave it up to Gray.
I'll finish it up.
Alright, so heading out first, you are going to have Sniggles, your new rat alchemist friend, who is very much excited to do her stuff. And much of her act largely is just, well, the stuff that she has with her, the various things that she is using, her implements. Does she have anything to use to burn for her performance? Do you have any alchemical? Someone's gone, so I don't think you guys do. So she heads out.
There's a lot of oil.
I'm pretty
We know this.
pretty
a lot of
big,
oil.
about 2 foot tall tube, almost looking like a common mortar, striped up with red and gold in the center of the ring, and just grabs a torch and reaches out and lights it and just kind of hops back and just puts her hands out like jazz hands as this thing lights and catches and starts to spray a little array of sparks that grows almost to an umbrella, spreading out near to the outer reaches of the ring itself. As the crowd's watching this giant fiery spectacle light up, she picks up a pair of smaller tubes, lighting both of them on the torch as Lish holds it out in the ring, and each of them start to put out little pulses, little orbs of varying colors. And Sniggles is going to make her first roll here with a performance check. Which she is going to succeed. So as her act picks up, meanwhile in the other ring, Sniggles, almost overly excited, bouncing and fire and lights and crazy explosions, is almost the opposite of Blue, who strides out, hands in his pockets of his jacket into the ring, pulling the right side of his jacket around to hide as much of the bandages and his injuries as possible. His jacket's still visibly a bit burnt, but dusted off and cleaned up as well as he can. He heads out and looks out to the center of the audience, turns to the left, puts his hand up to his mouth like he had a cigarette, and just pulls his hand away and blows. As he does, he just starts to put out almost a cone of this thick green smoke. This one a bit more colorful, though, filling up about 5 feet in front of him, hanging this triangle in the air. As he walks up, left hand still in his pocket around it, reaches out and twists his hands through it a bit, like he's shaping clay almost, starting to wave into this. And he is going to make a thievery check.
This guy is so cool. What a cool guy.
I know, right? Oh,
Which
yes.
he's going to fairly easily succeed as well, as he starts to pluck and pull at this cloud hanging in the air as it slowly lowers, a little bit heavier than the air around it. He starts to pull wings out, a head, a beak, a tail, shaping it into almost a giant eagle, just floating there in the center of the ring. He's not doing anything with it yet, just creating this art. Arbus. At this point, you are well over your anticipation goal, with both Sniggles and Blue succeeding with their 5th level tricks.
Okay, so center ring, I will have already cast an obscuring mist over the wooden cage, and as that obscuring mist starts to dissipate, you see she's inside the wooden cage, on both knees, looking down at a dark wood crown. As the music starts to go, she starts to dance around the cage, slowly getting faster and faster, using it as incorporating it with the dance. Kind of slips out of the cage and gets up on top and places the crown on her head with a menacing grin. And I think I'll roll there.
Okay.
I believe it was nature with a plus because of animal trait or something.
Yes, animal trait gives nature a +1 whenever you use it for your trick.
All right, nature. Oh, that's a session reroll. I'm pretty sure.
You gotta get shown up with the 2 newest members of your circus you just
No.
recruited today.
No, I can't do it, man.
Ooh!
Now that's a
Very
31. technically.
Flips it to a critical success. With a critical success, you are not only going to raise the excitement to 49, you're going to raise the anticipation from 39 to 41. Putting on such a spectacular finale here that you have largely gotten the crowd to forget about the events of 10, 15 minutes prior. And though the evening is getting late, the area getting somewhat dark, your spotlights are allowing you to continue on past what should have been your curtain without any kind of penalties or problems. And this is just drawing more and more interest. The left side, this eagle kind of sitting there. Blue actually walks out of the ring. He walks out to the left hand still in his pocket, right hand hung down to his side, and walks up to the stands. And then just looks across at the people that are there, kind of walking in front of him, and stops behind a younger lady, looking to be in her late teens. With a smile on his face, gives a deep bow, and extends a hand to her. And she kind of looks at her friends and her father a bit confused. Her father a bit of a gruff look on his face, turns and nods. She takes Blue's hand as he leads her back over into the ring, and puts one hand on her shoulder, and takes her wrist with the other, and kind of puts her hand up next to this eagle, and guides her through this motion. And she does, and it just kind of washes through the smoke a little bit, smearing the side of the eagle a little, but he nods and steps back and then encourages her to do it herself. And steps back behind the thing, puts both hands in his pockets, and as the girl does this waving motion, he just blows. And the eagle expands out over the center of the crowd, widening to fill a space 20, 30 feet wide as its wings spread over the cheering audience. And he's gonna make a tough roll to use a second trait here. And as he does, it kind of winces a bit from the pain, and this eagle kind of loses form as it reaches the stands and spreads out into just a thick cloud of this poisonous smoke settling onto a large chunk of the audience, who immediately, coughing and hacking, start to move away. And he tries to recover it a bit, clearly kind of in pain, waves a hand, and
Also into clowns.
clears much of the smoke here.
Oh no!
clears a good amount of the smoke away. And the clowns will immediately spill out to try to recover that failure there. And as it starts to dissipate and get thinner, a lot of those stands, the people having cleared out down to the ground in front of it and around it, still trying to get a view of the other acts, but just trying to get out of the smoke. Sniggles, on the other side, as she starts to kind of bounce around, she doesn't have a whole lot of a fantastic idea of what she's doing here. It's clear that the alchemy and the fireworks that she's put together is much more of the act than any kind of a performance, and she's very much new at this. But she does what she can, waving them around, making some colorful displays as this central thing continues to fizzle. And she, too, is going to make a fairly difficult roll. Oh, you love to see it! Sniggles,
The absolute goddess.
Sniggles the legend, pulling it in with a second success as these various sprays of colors, these orbs shooting out from the tube she is holding. She throws them out in a couple of different directions, even sometimes knocking them against each other in the air before planting both of those back on the ground, and then grabbing what largely just looks to be an enormous sparkler with something much like what she had done when she first demonstrated to you, lighting it with a cascade of rainbow shimmering sparks swinging off in every direction. The bottom of the sparkler, the handle being somewhat soft, so you can actually kind of fling it and spin it around with these revolving displays of lights, getting you another 5 excitement. And Arubis.
Okay, boy, it's a lot going on out there. All right, so still, I'm on top of the cage, crown, panning across the crowd, and then effortlessly tumble down the cage into a hunched over position, almost of a flex, as Masako rushes from stage right. Arbus doesn't even lift her head, just tilts it slightly. He heels before her as low as he can. She reaches down to touch his face. He pulls away. A grin of excitement appears on her face. They take turns pursuing each other throughout the dance. At times, her movements are animalistic, and his almost human. At either side of the ring, they both start to run towards each other, and I think I'll roll here for the second one. Is it the same thing?
Yeah, you only have one trick
Yeah,
at
that's
the moment,
right.
so you just, or you can have 2 checks rather. So you can roll nature again if you want, or if you have a different check assigned to it, you can use that. You have 1 trait, but you should have 2 checks. You won't get the +1 if you don't use nature, and it is at a -5 for being your second performance.
Okay. But I can use a different one, like survival?
Yeah, but that has to be part of your trick. Like, if you wanted your trick to be nature and survival, it's nature and survival. So you can do that, absolutely. But it's always going to be nature and survival. It's not like nature and.
I can't remember what I did last, because it's the same thing I did last time.
If you want to make, if you don't have it written down, you don't remember. If you want to pick a check, and we'll just say that's your second check from here on, we could do that.
Okay, it might have been this, honestly, because we were looking for something for it anyway. Okay, so yeah, I'll use survival then. Go. 31 -5.
26 is going to solidly succeed yet again, bringing you up to a total, with all 3 of you having used a second trait, of 62 excitement. Even after the sandbagging that Delamar and his team brought in. Sniggles is not going to go for Act 3. Blue is busy being salvaged by clowns who have run up into the stands with whatever random blankets or towels or just large flat objects they could find, making an absolutely over-exaggerated show of trying to fan away the smoke out of the bleachers. Are you
One
gonna?
of them just has a bucket and is just belling the smoke out.
One of them just got like a pair of pants and he's just waving them at the smoke at the bottom. Wholly unsuccessfully.
No, the second check was just for what's going to happen here, I guess. That's what
so go ahead.
Okay, so either end of the ring, they begin to charge towards each other. And as they get near, Arbus drops to her knees and slides, leans back as Masako jumps over her, going the other direction. And then they wind up on opposite sides of the cage. From her knees, she turns to look as Misako goes the opposite direction and leaves. She looks towards the crowd, sad, and then morphs into a black wolf with blue highlights and slowly saunters after her partner.
And as you wrap up your performance here, Blue is just taking a distraction to try to make his leave and head back to the behind the curtain again, the backstage area. Sniggles, as her sparkler starts to burn down, the main giant tube in the center starts to run its course, having burnt all the way through everything they'd packed into it, all the reagents and everything. She kind of stops and looks back and forth. Just sort of holds the sparkler up and seems to have no idea how to end her performance. So
I'll wave her out.
you wave her out, and she'll just wave to the crowd and then just turn and walk away, sparkler still in hand. But with that all completed there, the Celestial Menagerie had no chance of stopping a spectacularly successful opening night here in Escadar, with the group of you having easily cleared the anticipation that you had set, having easily come through and blown out of the water what was originally 39 anticipation, up to 41 with Arbus's critical success. Nobody can say that tonight wasn't going to turn a pretty spectacular profit. So as the group of you all make your way backstage at the end, as the show winds down and the roustabouts start to make their way out to clean up, pick up a lot of burnt tubes and stuff from Sniggles' performance there, and start trying to pack everything together to get the more fragile, more delicate components of the show put away for the evening. The professor backstage would, of course, be the first to meet you. Well, I must say, Selwyn, that was impressively well handled.
It could have gone worse.
That could have gone significantly worse. They could have killed you. But, well, I wasn't positive that was a performance that was going to be salvageable, and yet, well, here we are. We'll be counting this purse long into the night. Well done, all of you. Congratulations are in order, circus-wide. The Wayward Wonders have made their way to Escadar, and we've made it clear, now more than ever, that we'll not be bullied or scared off by Dusklight or any of her henchmen. And he kind of just, the side eyes Blue a little bit. But the rest of your performers here, the rest of your crowd, can cheer out in unison to this.
And I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome our newest member. Everyone, meet Blue. He had a shitty employment at the Celestial Menagerie, same as we did. And now he'll have a great employment here with us, same as we do.
And there's a lot more silence kind of meeting that one there.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of sort of kind of understandably suspicious looks. I mean, Arbus, I'm sure, even still isn't really on board with this. And the professor just kind of turns and leans down to you, Selwyn. I can't say I have a spectacular feeling about this decision, but you're a ringmaster. It is yours to make.
Well, the thing is, wouldn't we all have wanted a chance to leave, given the option?
That's fair. Certainly fair enough, but it was...
If it comes back to bite us, take responsibility.
And Blue, kind of understanding that the professor's a bit suspicious, puts a hand over on the professor's shoulder, and he turns away from you and looks kind of up to this fairly tall tiefling. A little bit of a grin on his face. Now look, I know none of us have had a good opportunity yet for proper introductions, and that which we did have here with your ringmaster of all people, well, didn't go spectacularly well. nor did it paint me in a terribly good light, I'll admit. But a lot of you made your way here from the same humble beginnings that I struggled through over the past few months. You all know well what the menagerie is like, and well, I'd like to think I've got a pretty keen eye for talent. And if not me, certainly that crowd outside seems to be impressed. A lot of you, it's certainly not just this red. You've all got a pretty good set of knockers, I'd imagine, to come out here and try to stick it to the menagerie directly. And honestly, that's the kind of courage a man can aspire to. If you'll have me, this seems like a much cleaner lot to be throwing in with.
I think we should give him a chance. I did set him on fire. Sorry about that.
He looks over toward the barely burnt shoulder of his jacket. No offense taken, little stick. I more than asked for it. That much is certain. Now look, I came to you in bad faith. Clearly. And truth be told, had you and your friend not caught me backstage before, I would have done my best to ruin your show with the talents available to me. And your wolf would have had a sour performance, my lady, what with the smoke he'd been coughing on. But, gotta say I'm glad it didn't come down to that.
Then you pray to the Stormlord you didn't do that, because I would have tore your throat out.
Okay, calm with the friends.
Like, we can't be starting on a fresh slate without a clean beginning, can we? You all know why I was here well enough, as was Delamar and Shale, sent here to do what we could by the Celestial Menagerie, to put a stop to your opening night, to blow your tent away and rain down on your show. That is about her best effort. Delamar's a hell of a man. I certainly wouldn't underestimate what he is capable of. Hell, that's why I'm here in the first place. But, hey, if you can fend him off, you could fend off the cat herself. And that black cat'd be finding herself on the end of that bad luck if she showed her face here, I'm certain. Now, we clean? We even? That wasn't my best performance, to be sure, but I did take a fair good beating before heading on stage, and I hope you understand.
Well, Gray, can you find it in your kind heart, the blessings of the Stormlord? A second chance?
That's not how that works, Selwyn.
How does it work then?
I don't trust him. He goes where the money is. Can you not see that?
I don't think money had anything to do.
Well, hey
You know.
now, I think you're underselling my talents, and you're doing me a fair turn of disrespect here, my lady. I come when my talents will be appreciated. I don't think one of us has dedicated our life to our arts just for the coin in it. And of all people, still here, Mordane gonna make her way forward. I'm a bit confused. This is not the same that near all of you have come from.
It is.
Well, can't say I see the problem with it. Certainly, I've heard stories of worse a lot of you have done from Mistress Dusklight.
Yeah. Well, I guess you'll have to watch your lady until then. For her, the trust is earned. Well, I suppose it is for all of us. But
Well, I will do my best to earn that as I can.
so we'll ask. Well, I'll ask at least.
Well then, if I'm gonna be a part of this here road show, I suppose I'm yours to command then. Selwyn, was it?
There was, yes, and
Blue
Blue.
Croissant. I know. Get the same joke from everyone. Doesn't seem to right fit with the green smoke, but no one's ever
I
heard
was gonna
that
ask
name
why-
on stage.
I was gonna ask why you weren't named Purple.
They call me the Smoke Dragon, hence if I get my wits about me and a bit of time to prepare for a show rather than some dark subterfuge on the cover at night, it's a proven crowd pleaser. And he just kind of motions to the tattoo he has in lieu of facial hair that, as you look at it now, almost kind of looks like scales, sort of like a dragon's jaw.
But he's so fucking cool.
He's so cool. This guy's awesome.
I like him.
Now, you give me a fair opportunity to impress, and I'll do my best to bring in some coin for my new family.
From behind everyone talking here, you hear a faint cloth rip. And you all turn around to see Zerg looking at yet another hole in his new pink gambeson. Well, I like him. I think he's great.
I like your new Gambeson.
Yes, it's a bit small.
It's true, he did take it from a tiny man.
So, currently, your show has a 5 prestige, question mark? I
Perhaps.
believe your prestige is a 5.
Yes, 5.
Alrighty. So with a successful show here, your prestige is going to increase to 7. As the word of the
Yes.
Circus of Wayward Wonders is spread to a much larger settlement here. And then counting through all the payout and everything at the end, your final anticipation of 41 and a prestige of 5 going in, you should be walking away with about 46 gold total to the circus's bill for just in profits, just for upgrades, further investments. But as you're counting through everything through the evening here, the professor comes by with a bit of a discrepancy. Well, Selwyn, I certainly say we did well enough of a good job. The tent was packed. And with that word spreading out, we should be able to fill it even further if we wish to do a second show here in Escadar. But, I'll admit there's a fair bit less coin here than I would have anticipated, given the seating. It's possible I miscounted or some kind of mistake with the ticketing, but with the numbers that our doorman let in, we should have around 45, 46 gold, and I'm counting together barely 40.
Well, I believe Sark did have to offer some free tickets.
Well, that would certainly make sense. I suppose given everything that's happened tonight, it was a worthy enough sacrifice. I've certainly made a name for ourselves, and we've more than enough money to go around. You continue to impress, Selwyn. Thunder'd be proud, for certain.
Aw.
You did his outfit justice tonight. Now, I'll get this all properly counted, make sure everything's tallied up and marked as it should, and, well, I suppose we can talk further plans in the morning.
Great.
For tonight, we'll just rest successful, knowing we'll have good food and drink for time to come. Sleep well, Selwyn. I'll just kind of reach
too,
down,
bruv.
pat you on the shoulder. And you're going to make 41 gold. 41 gold instead of 46 that you should have.
Okay.
Now, some of your excitement here is going to carry forward a bit, because you have made a decent impression here, and you've put on a solidly successful finale. So you are going to start the next show with 2 excitement, whenever that does happen to be. And as you all wind down, collect your things, eat, celebrate, drink, and eventually pass the fuck out for the evening, you made your foothold in Escadar. Let's take our break here real quick. I think this is a perfect time for that. and use the bathroom, refill our drinks, get our snacks, and don't go far, chat, because when we return, I'm pretty sure there's a little more business we have in Escadar than simply putting on a circus. At least I think Selwyn's got some other avenues of investigation she'd like to pursue. We'll be right back. Give us a few minutes. Welcome back, everybody. Except Mono. Welcome back, everybody else. If I verbally say I'm gonna unmute the party, then I usually remember to unmute the party. I just have to actually say it out loud with my mouth words.
That's good. Learning.
We're getting there, boys. Look at the hot progress we're making as a live stream. I'm not stupid garbage. Sometimes.
Self high five.
Self high five. Sometimes I do something right. I'm good at stuff. Anyway, as you wind down and head to rest for the evening, Selwyn, in your wagon, alone, certainly working on whatever insane writing project she has for this particular day, you are going to hear a familiar voice.
Hey.
You know, Selwyn, I'm honestly not really even surprised anymore. You have such an impressive retinue of enemies. And this is coming from a literal demon.
Uh-huh.
And yet still, you seem to find more hate on the material plane than I do. Though it is my job to avoid most of it, to be fair, and I'm quite good at it.
Right. Well, you know, you've seen most of it, really. Yeah, it's really just the Monastery.
I
And
feel as
trucks.
if you undersell yourself. You know, once I was told that the measure of a soul's worth can be accounted for by the strength of their enemies. Nobody gets anywhere in life without, well, crossing a few lines. It's not ridiculous at the time, of course, but the more I think about it, really, it's kind of grown on me. It actually makes a lot of sense. You can't really accomplish much of anything without falling ill of someone. Anyway, this is all neither here nor there. Does the name... Hold on, what was it? And you hear it kind of shuffling through some paper. Saint Sarnax. The Monastery of Saint Sarnax. Does that sound familiar?
I will make a religion check and find out in a second.
Go ahead, yeah, go ahead and give me,
Well, if I can impress my, well, mistress, really. 25.
With a 25, I would say that, yeah, you would have heard of it. Saint Sarnax is an ancient chapter house of the Knights of the Aeon Star that Escadar is actually largely built around. This is the presence of the monastery and of Saint Sarnax is one of the reasons that Absalom founded it where they did. So you would know not so much about what Saint Sarnax really was, so much that it was a very, very ancient religion that dates back further than, well, the city and almost further than Absalom does.
Right. I'll tell her, well, I've heard of it.
Well, apparently, down there in Escadar, there is a monastery of sorts dedicated to that. I'm honestly somewhat unclear on whether it's a major deity or a figure of nobility that they worship for some reason. But if anywhere is going to have records about this Moonstone Hall, I imagine that may be your best bet outside all the city's archives themselves. What's interesting is I can find casual mention of this Moonstone Hall, but it's ancient, and it's, well, thousands or more years old. It seemed to be a temple itself of some denomination, although that too seems to largely have been lost to time. I'll admit I'm surprised at how little I can't find of this in the libraries of Absalom, but perhaps you'll have better luck on site, Selwyn.
I'll do my best.
Well, I do wish you the best of luck dealing with the ancient and, I'd imagine, reclusive monks in their monastery. My love, they can be quite tiring.
Oh, why couldn't it be abandoned?
Well, by all I can tell, as soon as you can find where Moonstone Hall is, it may very well be. Well, of course, other than whatever the Trogs are doing there. Still, though, at least you don't have to sleep with them. Your job could be worse. Trust me, I've taken quite a fair few hits on that front for the cause of my own scientific research. Well, whatever it was I was doing at the time. I forget. It was probably important. Anyway.
I feel that.
If you can't find anything there, then... Well, truth be told, I'm not sure I can help you much without sailing to Escadar myself.
Well, let's hope we find something there, then.
And so with that, you all would pass the rest of the evening. And the following morning, awaken successful circus performers once more. Today's job for the roustabouts largely is going to be hauling down the canvas, the big top, the tent itself, making sure that it's not left up exposed to the elements any longer than it has to be. Whereas much of the supplies are left in place, left in their crates and their barrels, staked out in a smaller tent that'll be erected over what was previously the backstage area, in case of another show for Escadar. Everything doesn't get hauled up unless you're getting ready to hit the road for somewhere else. But with a new morning and a successful show behind you, you have fulfilled your debt to the city of Escadar. Well, at least you have performed. You have fulfilled what you said you would do. You just haven't, how to say, paid them yet.
Nope. I'll head into the barracks as soon as possible. The first thing in the morning, really.
Okay, and does anybody want to go with Selwyn to go meet with the constables and the magistratum?
Oh, she seemed like a lovely woman.
Last time we went, it was very long and very boring.
I think Arvis literally left, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
How about you, Zerg? You didn't get to quite make it last time. You missed out on the trip to Conclave Square.
I'll come for one day, yeah.
So, Arvis, you gonna stay back by yourself?
Me and Arl hang out then somewhere.
All right. So
I'm sure
Barkbeard-
you and Blue can make friends now.
Oh no!
Selwyn, Barkbeard, and Zerg make their way down into town, down to Conclave Square to meet up once again with the Lieutenant Constable to fulfill your end of the deal here. As you make your way into the small, again, fairly well-furnished waiting area, the seats down either side, the same scribe is sitting there waiting, and as he looks, his eyes kind of widen a bit as Selwyn enters, and Barkbeard, and a giant half-orc that he doesn't recognize. And he glances quickly towards the side door before putting on his best retail smile. Oh, well, welcome back.
No more muscle. This is an armory. I'm just messing. We're here with the taxes for our show.
Oh, of course. So you'll be needing another meeting. I believe you had met with the Lieutenant Constable last time.
Yes.
Lieutenant Madrad?
Yes.
Yep. Give me one moment. I'll go ahead and send word and see when she can make time in his schedule. Please have a seat.
I'll have a seat.
And he'll stand up and walk through that same back door, heading back down the hallways. And as he returns and comes back out to the front, he sidles out the door. Well, good news. She is not fully booked today, and she'll certainly have time to meet with you. It seems like she'll be available in about 4 hours.
Where we had wanted to
Glances
go walk
towards
around town
the
a bit.
door and you and the door and you and the side door. Aware of what happened last time.
I wins.
And this
then
point's probably like 9 in the morning, so he's asking you to literally wait until like afternoon.
wait, and then I'll fall back into a smile. Well, that seems reasonable.
right. Well, you're more than welcome to wait here if you wish, or go about your things about town if you have other business. I have you penciled in, and she's aware. So that's up to you, really. Can I get you some water?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
Speaking of water, I'm actually very interested to go down to the docks. You know, there are no trees and nor plants in the water, so I know very little about it.
He kind of looks down, still clearly very unsure of what you are. That would be an excellent time to pass the excellent way to pass the time here in our city. The docks are one of the big flagships of Escadar, really. One of the big appeals, attractions. You can see all the great ships of Absalom's navies.
Right. Well, we'd best be on our way. A little time to lose around here.
Well, see you later, Buckbeard.
Well, I mean, I guess have fun then.
Yeah. Well,
I guess I'll. I'm gonna go. I guess we're like down to the docks.
And Buckbeard
Nick, have you ever seen the docks?
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Have you ever seen the docks? I mean, I've never seen the ocean before, and I thought it'd be very interesting. I know Sullivan seems to be very set on sitting here in a room for about 4 hours, but I have things to do.
Yes, I come with. This is boring.
Have fun, Selwyn. I admire your patience, or something.
Hang on, this might help. And I'll take off the gambeson and just drape it over Selwyn's shoulders.
You still have
Nothing
the, it's the
taken
next day. You
seriously.
still have the gambeson on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put the gambeson on.
That's gonna be a dress. for you.
Hilariously
That's a
so.
nightgown, yeah.
It's also torn everywhere, so it'll
It
be
doesn't
really
matter.
cool.
I'll be really, yeah.
Cool.
So
Well, have
Parkman
fun.
and Zerg will just leave. Someone's sitting here in a DMV further, just waiting. And Barkbeard and Zerg, as you head back down, out, and around to the docks themselves, passing through much the similar sights of the town here, the market stalls, the hawkers, the omnipresent beggars, and assorted charlatans trying to pawn off all kinds of little trinkets and oddities on you. Although, fortunately, with Zerg's presence, a lot of them are a little less aggressive. They don't physically put themselves in front of you. You're a giant half-orc man who, regardless of your meaning, just looks fairly intimidating. And you walk around in a chainmail leotard, and no one really wants to fuck with that. So back at the camp, Arbus and Ara, you would be left with the day here largely to yourselves. And what would you guys be getting up to? What's going on?
What do you want to do? I mean, it's just us here.
Let's kind of look around. I don't really know. I finished my present for Zerg, and he still hasn't seen it or said anything about it.
He was a little distracted yesterday
He was.
with the anger and the Gambison.
I know. We should go talk to Blue. I start walking towards Blue. Or go looking for Blue.
So what would be your setup with Blue here? He doesn't have a wagon or anything for himself. At the moment, he'd just kind of be around. And you'd find him off closer to the center of the circus ground, around near where some people are hanging around having a morning meal. Just sort of standing, maybe chatting with a couple of roustabouts. He's not a difficult man to locate. As he kind of came and then just decided to join you, he's still wearing all of the same outfit he had yesterday. And as the pair of you approach, he cracks a bit of a smile. I believe that the group of us haven't really been properly introduced here. We had a bit of an odd situation last night for certain, and had to skip a bit of the formalities. I'm Blue Croissant, and puts a hand out.
I reach out and grab it. My name's Arlulu Ara. It's a pleasure to meet you. Come on, Arbus, you gotta greet him proper like.
Well, Lulu, that's a bit of a mouthful, but I promise you I will at the very least be doing my best. You gotta give me a little bit of patience there if I stumble over that one a time or two.
Well, most people call me Ara.
Ara's a much easier one. I think I'll side there with the rest of the masses then. And you, miss, I know I came here to do wrong by you specifically, but all I can do now is beg your forgiveness.
I'll lean in begrudgingly and sort of just lean out.
It would smell very, very heavily of smoke.
Yeah.
You would have a pretty powerful scent.
I call myself Arabis.
Ara and Arabis. It's like you two were destined to be friends from birth, with those names a matching pair. Peas in a pod coming to a circus together.
Yeah, it gets confusing. We even do the same magics.
It's true. Sometimes we steal each other's spotlights. It's fun little competition sometimes.
Well, truth be told, I didn't get to see a whole lot of either of your performances. Arabis, I was a little occupied with my own business at the time, and Ara, I think about have been outside or out back. No, you had you did something with the tight ropes and the fire, didn't you?
Yep, that was me.
No, I definitely caught a bit of that. That was certainly fairly well done. It threw me for a loop. It's the opposite of what I would have been expecting, coming from someone here, well, not right sure how to put it plainly and politely, really, but
I'm a plant and plants burn. Yeah.
that is the connection that I would have been assuming, but you don't seem to fear that fire at all.
Oh, I'm undaunted. Says so on the poster.
Haven't been a whole lot of those posters around the menagerie, so I haven't gotten much chance to see your advertisements. That said, though, I have been working with them for some time, and I could help you out with your show a little bit. And maybe can spruce up your ranks a bit. Now, Arbis, you got a bit of that dancing going with that wolf of yours. You seem to control that thing better than most men can control their own friends and family.
It's not really about control, but respect. Yes. So.
Respect
guess
is one
around
thing, but if you're looking to turn heads at a circus act, I can tell you I found great success getting some of those circus goers involved themselves. You get some of the audience involved, get some of them in. If you trust your dog as much as it looks like you do, that's a guaranteed success.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing evolving act. Yes, I have ideas.
Well, my smoke and my works have been a little bit difficult to present out to an audience at a distance. It's fairly dark, a little hard to see in some of the low tent lighting situations, so I got a bit of a practice with bringing the show to the good folk. I could help you out if you wanted.
Man, I don't know.
Arabis.
You got no reason to trust me, and I wholly understand. You've been working your craft for certainly much longer than I've been working mine. I've been fortunate enough to have a bit of a gift with this, but when you had that setup, that's well true practice and talent. Stand an offer, though, and I'll be here for hopefully the foreseeable future if you're interested.
I appreciate it. I will think about it.
But with that offer, Blue here can actually unlock the audience trait for you. And the audience trait is a +1 to your check if you're using society. So, hooray for literally all of you.
I will
There's
have
trade of society.
a +1 for a society then. Yes.
Not something I imagine the majority of you are interested in. But
No.
as you're standing around talking to him with his tricks here, he also has some time. You don't have much in common at the moment other than you're both circus folk and you got your acts and your performances you've been working together. He explains a bit of how the smoke works and what little magic he has to guide it. He doesn't really understand how to cast much for proper spells other than that he uses to bring darkness, and that extinguishing light around him is largely just something in his blood, something he was born with, part of his tiefling heritage, not something he really understands. But he'll also give you the air trait. And with the air trait, if your trick, perhaps with your obscuring mist there, Arbus, in any way works with fog or smoke or wind or mist, that trait gives you a +1 if you use survival. So potentially when you get the ability to put a second trait on your trick, having yours be animal and air would give you a boost to both of your rolls, Arbus, or anybody else who is interested in possibly using a survival roll as part of theirs. Out in town, Zerg and Barkbeard would make their way down to the docks where a pretty large contingent of the Absalonian Navy is stationed. And Absalom's not currently at war with anyone, it's peacetime, so this harbor is a truly impressive sight. A large section of it where the most impressive and imposing boats are stationed, all looking similar but with their own figureheads, their own touches, their own slight modifications throughout, with the exception of the sails, all bearing identical crests of the Absalonian city. That section of the dock would be locked exclusively to the Navy and the military itself, so you couldn't actually go up onto the piers with the giant battleships, but you could get pretty close and see them, and there's a whole lot of other sights and excitements to get from the pier as well. There's plenty more docks outside the naval bastions. So, are you two planning on heading back later in the afternoon, after a few hours? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, after a few hours, we'd get some, some turkey legs and maybe some good snacks, and maybe meet some beautiful ladies that are strolling about in the, summer afternoon.
There are plenty of beautiful ladies to be found around Escadar, and you don't even have to be charming to catch them. Just have a couple gold pieces. Escadar is, well, very largely a city of vices, and probably about half of the operating buildings here would be assortments of brothels or gambling dens or literal drug lairs. So, any kind of mischief you are interested in, Escadar can find you. Along with that, though, being an Absalonian naval station and being positioned in the Starstone Isles where it is, if it's food you're looking for, you can do significantly better than a turkey leg, as there would be stations set up here with various Rahadumi, Osirian, all kinds of different stands of different cultural foods from around the inner sea, all up and down the coasts. But you would swing back around eventually. I imagine Selwyn is waiting so patiently.
So patiently.
But somewhere around 1 in the afternoon, the three of you reuniting in there. Once again, the door would open with the same senior constable who would come through. He'd see the group of you. Hey! I heard you put on a pretty good show last night.
Yep, so we did.
Come on back. The lieutenant constable's ready for you. And he holds the door open, lets the group of you through. Everyone comes in. He follows along. It's a damn shame I couldn't get down to see any of it myself, but duty calls, I only get so many days off here, and there's only so much I want to do with them. The wife gets on me a bit if I certainly would have if I shirked any of that free time I had to be heading down to a traveling circus. But,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
man, people have been talking. You must have done great.
Yeah, we
It
did
was
pretty
quite fun.
It was another night of work for me, but whatever.
good. Don't worry,
That's
Sig.
true.
You'll get to show off next time.
As he leads around the back into where the secondary waiting room was, he just walks straight on through there and raps twice on the lieutenant constable's door, and then opens it and gestures you all to head inside, where once again, Lieutenant Madrad is waiting behind her table, her curved desk in this calm and quiet little office with a group of you to enter. And she's again, yes, fantastic. I'd appreciate your promptness, Selwyn. Go ahead and take your
Yes.
seats. Give me one moment to find these papers here. and sorts through some things behind her desk. And so, Zeg, because you haven't actually been here before, it is really a fairly small, quiet, oaken office. A desk planted in the middle, a half circle around her, with plenty of seating on the far side. The senior constable, Constable Holden, again, just takes his place, hands folded behind her, smile on his face, just kind of watching. As she finishes sorting through everything, she pulls up a copy of the agreement that she'd written up with you previously. By all accounts, I hope congratulations are in order. Well done on your opening show.
Thank you.
All right, now, do you have your, well, truth be told, from my experiences dealing with the Celestial Menagerie, I understand that bookkeeping is a loose science to circus folk frequently, but I would hope you have some kind of accounting sheets or...
Yes, I would have brought those. Whatever, if the professor actually made it. If he hadn't, I would have made some of myself.
Yeah, you and the professor could certainly have gotten some together before you head down here. As she looks over everything, that's impressive. I'll admit, you did substantially better than I had expected. And, truth be told, we didn't give you the easiest plot of land to work with. We gave you what was available. You've cleared it out, put everything together, and put on a show with a fair bit of punctuality. Well done. So, if you made around 41 gold, it looks to me then as... And she pulls an abacus
What's the
out.
agreement?
I'm sorry?
How much? What's the tax?
The tax is 5%.
5%.
Yeah, she reaches out under her desk and pulls out an abacus and starts sliding some things around and comes out with, all right, that's going to be 2 gold and 5 coppers. Then will be the proper taxing.
I'll hand those over.
So you take those out of Circus Fund, obviously, as she would get that from you. And she collects it and counts them through and then seals them into a small envelope and stamps it with a plain wax seal to seal it and puts it with the original agreement that she'd written up for you in the first place. And then files that back down to the desk. All right, so again, spectacular work done. So as you have handily fulfilled our previous agreement, you're more than welcome to continue using the land. We only ask, of course, that if you are going to continue performing, that you put on at least a show monthly, and then the taxation schedule will progress the same as it has so far, 5% from each of your earnings. And if that's agreeable, you're largely welcome to stay as long as you please.
Yes, that sounds agreeable to me.
Now, was there anything else you needed or any other concerns?
No.
I do
Well,
very
we
much
had
apologize for the long wait. I understand that
No, it's fine.
I'm not
I
the
understand
easiest
your
to reach,
mercy.
but we've been unfortunately busier than usual. A lot of work to do, you know.
Yes, of course. No, I believe that should be it.
Okay, well.
I say wearing my pink gambeson.
If she notices, she doesn't visibly react at all. So she's either fairly decent at hiding it, or just doesn't say anything, or just doesn't question what the hell circus folk do. And writing this paper, all right then, it's been a true pleasure, so and I very much appreciate how easy this has been, and I wish you the best of luck in your future performances.
And you in your enforcement duties. One thing, corruption within the constabulary. How common is that? Now, obviously, asking a card is bit of a touchy subject, but there were some that tried to gain, let's say, funds that were not agreed upon after we set up.
And she just kind of looks at you, and Constable Holden puts his hand up. Well, I feel that's a bit of a bold accusation to be making there.
Oh, I was just wondering aloud.
And Lieutenant Constable puts her hand up. Thank you, Constable Holden, but I can handle. I'm sorry, Miss Sullivan. Do you care to tell me the details of what happened?
I'll tell her, what happened, what was asked.
And this is truly unfortunate. I do apologize, of course.
No, it was actually quite funny.
And something that I was entirely unaware of. Did you get any names by chance?
Not that I remember, if I'm honest.
Well, I can send this up the chain and do my best, but unfortunately.
fine. I would just advise you to, keep an eye out.
Yes, I will very much take your advice into consideration. But this is concerning, and I will at least open an investigation on your behalf and see if anything will come of this. But without any to really point fingers, unfortunately, I'm not sure that it will find much heading.
Fine.
If this happens again, or if they are to return, please do return to me. And if you can, do your best to get badge numbers. Something I can work with. And I swear to you, by the power of my office, I will do the best that I can to aid you.
Thank you.
Or, well, at least to clean up what I can on our end. Again, that's... And she stops. She's very business-like, Miss Madrid. She's very straightforward, but she stops for a moment. I am truly sorry that you have to deal with this. This falls on my shoulders.
It was a pleasure.
Anyway,
We're in.
if anything similar happens again, or you have any further concerns, or whenever you put your next show on, feel free to stop by, and well, I look forward to it. Hopefully I can attend one myself in the future.
That will be all. I'll start to leave.
And as you go, Constable Holden heads up and just follows you back out to the main area, and is quiet for the first bit of the walk, which is uncharacteristic because in the small amount of time you've been exposed to him, it's not in the lieutenant's office. He literally never stops talking. But mostly back, he pipes up. So when there's a bit more of a... That's a more common story than we'd like to hear, really.
I see.
I just wish we could do more about it.
Yeah. True shame.
I hope you don't let this reflect too badly on the runnings of Escadar, and if anyone, I do promise you that Lieutenant Madrid, she may not look it. She plays her cards pretty close to the chest, but she takes things like that very personally. It's just, well, just kind of the universal gesture of, what can you do? It's Escadar.
Yep. It's all good.
Well, best of luck to you then. And opens the door back up to the entry area and lets you all out of the building. So, making your way out of Conclave Square, it's still fairly early in the afternoon. So what else what's the plan for the rest of the day, friendos? Gonna head back to the circus grounds?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So you make your way back without any trouble, and come to arrive probably at the tail end of Blue's explanation of the various arts of circusry that he has learned throughout his career as a performer. And as the group reconvenes on your grounds, the big top, having largely been pulled down, is now in the great and strenuous process of being folded back up and packed back into the entire wagon that is dedicated to the massive tarp that you now own as a circus.
Arbus, you would not believe what I found in town today.
On the contrary, she would believe exactly what you found.
What did you find?
Okay, so there's this woman, and her skin was like the wrinkled bark of a mature oak. Her legs were as thick as a limb from it. It was so alluring. I've never... Man, the women in town, I say, it's
Ugh.
surprising, Arvis. Surprising, I would say.
Hemlock, what the... I'm just looking at Selwyn.
Oh, look at me. I don't understand how trees copulate.
I did not put any pollen out, as that would be rude, but I thought about it.
Ara walks over to Zerg and grabs his hand and starts pulling him in a direction.
Zerg doesn't notice immediately.
I just punch him in the thigh.
Zerg doesn't notice immediately. Oh! Hello!
Zerg, come with me. I got something to show you.
Oh, okay, let's go. I'm expecting that we're cracking skulls. Let's go, all right, let's good.
I take him to where I put lizard statue in a safe spot. And you see it exactly the way I described it last session. This lizard pose, strongman pose, with a shield resting at his feet with a continual flame burning off of it.
Oh, you did fix that?
Yeah.
It didn't actually.
It
It,
is
just
continual
got
flame, yeah.
quenched by the darkness. It didn't like get dispelled. It just
Chinese
was.
squid.
Zoom doing Zoom stuff. Is it
Oh.
fixed? Still?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It didn't actually get dispelled. It's just while it's in the darkness overrode it. So as soon as the darkness moved off, it lit back up.
Oh, cool. It's uncovered and you just leading me into that?
Yep.
Oh. Ara, how you do this? You make this?
I pull out my tools with these and a ladder.
Is adequate. Can I inspect? Can I have a look? You go do things.
Yeah, I walk away. Just don't break them, please.
No. No, it's fine now. Be very careful. And as Ara leaves, just falls in front of this thing and breaks out in tears. Inconsolable.
Where
Alone
is this?
with the
Is
statue.
this-
He's gonna need a minute.
Oh no.
Is this where? I don't know where the statue is at the moment. Ara, is this somewhere that would be?
It's
this
out.
visible?
It's visible.
So he walks a bit away, but I mean, Zerg is pretty still in clear view of the grounds, largely. You would, but no one is gonna come interfere with Zerg's morning. 0 people are going to approach that. They leave you to your moment.
Selwyn,
Yes.
I think I made Zerg cry.
I think you made him cry for a good reason.
What did you do to Mr. Batsky?
I gave him a present.
Just off in the distance.
The present's supposed to make you happy, though.
That's what I thought.
I think it did. I think it gave him something he needed.
Oh, my seat's uncomfortable.
It did? It did? That's
think
just
so.
new to me. We don't, not a lot of that in my tribe. I did. It was really, yeah, forget about it.
Socially awkward.
And as you're there after a minute or so, Zerg, you would feel a hand on your shoulder after the worst of the ugly crying phase perhaps is past. And Ilva,
It's just quiet sitting at this point now.
at that point, Ilva would come up and you'd feel her touch your shoulder gently. She doesn't say anything. She just stands there as you sitting. You're about half as tall as Ilva standing, so you can pretty easily just lay a hand on your sitting shoulder. She's not a particularly tall woman, Ilva. But, she says nothing. Just waits.
Just hand on hand. I'm going to be strong. Strong for Lizard. I'm
This-
still angry and I'm still sad and I do not know what to do with this.
This is not weakness. Weakness is not moments of emotion. Weakness would be, well, holding this, letting this cloud the rest of your days. That would be weakness. This is simply love, Zerg. And a strong one at that.
I'm supposed to be strongest man alive. Is this strong?
You have this inside you, but you carry it well. You keep it. That is strongest I know.
The Zerg's gonna stand up and kind of fist bump the statue from the upward flexed. You're right. I'm strong. I stay strong for Lizard. I stay strong for you. I stay strong for everybody. You're right. I have a lot to think about. I go think, and he's gonna sort of just meander away and
she just
ponder his own existence as the world's strongest man.
Kind of used to this, to some extent at this point. Just nods and lets you have your alone time. She gets you. It seems
like there's almost a new understanding coming over Zerg. He seems to sort of get it, if that makes any sense. He looks almost to, again, the clarity. There's an understanding there that wasn't there before, that things are going to be all right.
Well, you know that you can wander off to that small glade. I mean, if the tree line isn't too spooky at this point, you know that, and the circus comes there for water. Well, at some point, the Rasmussen would have worked to haul the bear carcass away from that. And you know there's that little clean pool at the foot of the oak, not too far into the trees. It's usually pretty quiet and abandoned. And if not that, there's the literal cave or the keep where you found Sniggles. You have all kinds of quiet contemplation areas not far from the grounds to the south. So as Zerg walks off, how about the rest of you?
Well, I'll start prepping my things to head to a monastery.
Are you gonna mention this to anybody else?
Yes, I'll mention to everyone.
I think it's the first they've heard of it, so what are you telling everyone?
Well, I'll tell them I found the lead on the trucks. I might be able to find where they're gathered. This Moonstone Hall that was mentioned in the journal from this monastery.
That's quite convenient. Do you know where this place is?
The monastery?
Well, any of this.
I don't know where Moonstone Hall is. That is what the monastery should be for.
Oh.
Hopefully you're covering that.
Well, yes, I mean, yeah, it seems like the right direction. I don't have anything else to do.
Where did you get your lead?
What?
Isn't she like some kind of, like, I thought she knew everything. I thought that was the whole point of keeping this woman around.
Well, she does know a lot of things, but nobody really knows everything, right?
I think Selwyn knows everything.
I don't know
That's
everything.
what I gathered.
That's what I used to think too, but she would always say that. I don't know everything, Arabist. Every time you ask, I don't.
It's true. I don't know everything. Which part of it do you want to know or know? The monastery I knew of. It's ancient, one of the most ancient around here. So if anything would carry ancient information about somewhere unknown, that seems as good a bet as any. The Moonstone Hall was mentioned in the journal by the succubus Tilby.
Oh. I mean, why do we really need to do this?
Vengeance, obviously.
That is, If you feel that this is what you need to do,
I don't feel it's a need, but I do feel it's a want.
Wouldn't it be good to keep practicing as we both know sometimes some areas need more practice than others, and I don't feel like this would be a bad direction to head in.
Practice? What do you mean?
Yes, practice.
Practice to killing more things?
Yep.
I don't think I like how that sounds. That doesn't sound very nice.
Oh. Well, don't worry. You do not have to practice.
All I do is practice.
Well, that is why you are here, is it not?
So, you are going to the monastery to find information about the hall.
Yes.
Quite.
And the hall is where the trogs came from. I'm not misremembering that.
Yes.
Okay. They were doing bad stuff and hurting people, probably.
The Trox are, yes. We'll put a permanently stop to that.
Yes.
They also seem to be, from my perspective, they also seem to be messing with the Aeon Towers, as I have seen one Aeon Tower, and they were messing with it. And this is deeply concerning to the life of the forest, the Blue Aeon Forest, and the other forests around. It is quite concerning if they're trying to mess with the natural balance.
Yes, if they're continuing to do that, then they absolutely need to be stopped. But if we get there, I don't want to just kill them to kill them.
You think Trox are just going to say, "Oh, hello, fellow civilized person. We're just here doing nothing after we were explicitly sent to the Aeon Tower."
Don't want her to come out again, Selwyn.
I'm just saying. Some people just need a good stabbing.
So, with that largely settled as well as it's going to be, it seems, the group of you head back into town once more to go find this Monastery of San Sarnax. Now, fortunately, it's not terribly difficult to find. It is a very, very old building. Probably one of the oldest in all of Escadar. But it's far from hidden. And this enormous, imposing marble building looks clearly and visibly ancient, even from a distance as you approach it. And it's easy to get inside. It's a public space. It's a chapel, largely. But you are greeted at the door by a monk. A very, very elderly monk, whose eyes barely even appear to be open under massive, bushy white eyebrows and otherwise shaved head. He's hunched over with a fairly plain cloak on. And as you come towards the front door to come into this place, he briefly hails you with a raised hand and a small, wry, wrinkled smile.
I wave.
I'll wave.
This
Monk?
is certainly something unexpected.
Well, what were you expecting? Out of curiosity.
The world works in very mysterious ways. It is unwise to expect much of anything.
So
Yet, I am still surprised.
He
Then
talks
you just-
like Barkbeard.
you say you don't
just going to say.
if you don't expect anything, you'll always be surprised, and yet you're surprised that you're surprised.
And still, it continues unending. Welcome to the Monastery of Saint Sarnax, one of the oldest chapels in all of Escadar. I am Sir Ezekiel Weem, a knight of the Aeon Star.
Oh. We've been into the Aeon Tower. That was pretty interesting.
The tower on the eastern end of this island. That is some distance. But it is an impressive sight, to be certain. The stone itself is truly awe-inspiring.
Right. Not for nothing. Have you ever heard of a place called the Moonstone Hall?
I can't say I have offhand, but if you have been sent here seeking information, you are more than welcome to the knowledge that resides in our archives.
Thank you very much, and I'll turn to leave. And I'll mutter, if I have to meet one more person who speaks slowly, I'm going to kill myself.
Talon, you don't want,
You just leave?
you
Yeah,
don't
I'm
want
just
to
going
check
inside.
his archives?
I'm going inside.
As
Oh,
you,
it's just you're leaving.
As you go inside and you start walking, you hear calls out, "Hold! One moment. I'm not quite as fast as I once was, but I will
Evidently.
escort you to the archives and help find this knowledge that you seek."
My inward voice is just going, no!
I'll lean
uh,
into I'll lean into
Zerg, I
someone.
imagine. Oh, good.
I lean into someone. At least he doesn't talk like Mr. Joseph did. I can understand him.
I can understand Mr. Joseph, and a lot faster.
Zerg, you could certainly have just come along with this as you were going to smoke and just see the party leaving and tag on after, so you can be here too. That's
Beautiful.
fine. You don't have to be excluded from the scene because you had to get a cigarette. So, Sir Ezekiel Weem leads you very, very slowly into the monastery itself, deeper inside. And as you walk, he briefs you with some of the history of the Knights of the Aeon Star. This order has stood since the ancient empire of the Aslanti peoples in the now sunken continents to the west of the inner seas. Have you heard much of the Aslanti and their legacies?
I'm sure you're about to tell us.
Well, there is certainly much to tell. As he continues on, you eventually make a slow, winding way to a fairly impressively maintained, large, grand library. Bookshelves rising up the 20, 30-foot walls around the outside of this near round room. And some smaller stands spread what looks at first almost at random through the inner area of the chamber. And the place is massive, set with several large rolling ladders up around the sides to reach the higher shelves. As he comes in, Ezekiel gestures with a shaky hand. This is the repository that the Knights of the Aeon Star have kept for generations and time immemorial. Now, Moonstone Hall, what manner of place was this? Do you know much beyond that name?
Do I know anything else? I don't
You know
think
a
I
lot
do,
of
right?
else. You know it's probably a temple. You know it's in Escadar theoretically.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And he goes around to one side of this and grabs one of the big rolling stairs and starts very slowly moving it around. If it was an ancient building here in Escadar, our own personal record should have some tell of that name. And he starts very slowly, like one rung every 10 to 15 seconds or so, working his way up the ladder. And he gets up only about 5-6 feet above the ground, where he leans over and starts adjusting and pulling out a couple of massive ancient dusty tomes, looking at their spines and covers and setting them back, before finally deciding on one. This should certainly do. And even slower, holding this huge book, makes his way back down and lays down on a table. Now, for how slow the old man moves, he references this book in ways that don't even seem to make any sense. Like he has some esoteric knowledge of all the organization of this entire library, and in just seconds has come through to some information on the latent Moonstone Hall. What he's able to turn up pretty quickly is that this appears that it was a temple which was buried some millennia back. Must not have been possibly closer to the founding of this city than it is to current day. An ancient relic indeed. It appears to have been founded, here, by a pious human priest named Zul. But as to his faith or the location, that is not immediately apparent. But certainly with some proper referencing, we can put this together. If we have the place recorded somewhere, we should have more information on it. I may need some assistance. Can you fetch a few tomes for me?
You could help us,
Of
right,
course.
Selwyn?
Of course.
So, as you all work here to help out Ezekiel as you can, to help him get these books together and cross-reference some things, it's going to be a little difficult. So he pretty quickly came across at least what Moonstone Hall is, and the name of its founding priest, which is something. There really does not seem to be a whole lot of information remaining about such an ancient site. So as you pull out a few books for him over the course of a few hours and start to look through, he's actually going to need assistance even just cross-referencing the massive amount of material that he has that could be leading the right direction. So I'm going to need somebody to either make me a religion or a society check, and each of those can be tried once, but other people, like someone else, can assist. One of you can roll religion, one of you can roll society, and someone can assist on each of those if you want.
I roll both?
You can only do one of them.
Wow.
I mean,
I could
I'm trained in
do some-
society.
To spend the next 3 hours cross-referencing stuff here with Ezekiel.
I have some interest in religion.
What's your religion modifier, Barbard?
Jesus. Smooth, man.
Yeah. No, I want to know
Very,
who's
very
assisting
good.
and who's assisting. and
I
who's,
know quite a
leading.
bit about religion.
All right, in that case, I'm leading.
All right, Selwyn, give me a religion check.
Rerolling.
That's
I'm
what
here
you
for it. Oh, yeah.
Have you used
It
your
was-
session reroll?
Idiot.
I've used my session reroll, but I should have one hero point
You
left.
have 1 hero point, yes.
I'm using it.
Ding.
I'll have you know.
Damn it!
Oh.
Why is
idiot.
life so cruel?
Oh no.
Barkbeard, do you want to roll to assist?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what, you silly.
Oh.
I'm killing myself.
Damn, that would have been that would have succeeded if that was the lead. But
shut the fuck
with a
up.
+2, the two of you seem to have some difficulty digging through these really ancient, kind of esoteric texts. What you do find, you managed to put together that Moonstone Hall seems like it was an ancient temple to Erodin. Which goes a good way to explaining why there is so much information about it scattered around throughout the archives. But not one that was affiliated with the Knights of the Aeon Star themselves, and not one that they had anything more than passing reference in, as it was another temple dedicated to their deity. They didn't see much need in basically trying to handle their affairs for them while it was operational. Now, Society, who wants to take a lead on Society?
I mean, I guess me?
Go get him, Ara.
Go get him, Aura.
You got 20. Does anyone want to try to assist him?
Can I assist?
You're doing the religion one. It'd be Arvis or
Nah.
Zerg if you want. It's a flat DC 20 to assist, and if you. Oh, he
There you
almost
go.
had it. Oh, he almost had it.
That was so close.
Zerg is surprisingly helpful, but it is kind of clear that he is somewhat out of his depth here. Regardless, Ara, it is you poring over the tomes and tomes of scattered knowledge who manages to put together a location. It appears that Moonstone Hall was condemned sometime over a millennia past and largely covered over and filled in to build up what is now the Woodworkers District of Escadar. You also learn a little bit of what was left about the process, and that the temple was not, it should not be ruined. It was covered over and left intact with an entrance underneath a mermaid fountain near the center of the Woodworkers District.
So,
Yes.
I think I figured it out.
Oh, yeah, what?
It's underneath the Woodworkers District, yes. And right in this book over there, Mermaid Fountain. Entrance. Underneath.
I see.
I look to the old man. Did I do that right?
And he's just looking over, squinting, and poring over the books. That does seem well enough to be correct. Well done, indeed. So, it's interesting our knowledge of this hall is so scattered and piecemeal, but given its truly ancient nature, somewhat understandable. But if this is to be believed, though it is well over 1,000 years old, this source, you may be in luck. It may very well still be accessible. And with that, it seems that you've probably exhausted the knowledge that the monastery
location.
really has to be awful and it has to be offered. And yeah, location is a pretty solid bump up. So, bidding Ezekiel a good day.
I would want to ask him a question, actually.
Oh, of course.
So you say you're a knight of the Aeon Tower, or Aeon Star. Does that have to do anything
Indeed.
with the Aeon Towers?
Well, the Aeon Towers share their origin likened back to our order, as both are products of the living god Erodin in his time. Erodin.
So what is the knight? What does the knight stand for? Why? What are you guarding exactly?
We were Aslanti Magi that served the throne of glass millennia past. But now, of course, with Aslant itself sunken beneath the waves, and Erodin having perished from this world, we await the return of the last Aslanti. Erodin was not the last of his line, and someday another will rise.
And so would it be of interest to you to know that the tower that I was part of, or the forest that I was part of, its tower was attacked very recently, and I find it concerning as it is a fairly important part of these islands.
That is interesting indeed. I don't know what cause anyone would have to bother the Aeon Towers, as their purpose was long since served. You see, when Erodin raised the Starstone Isles as rock from the bed of the inner seas, as his greatest miracle to create a new land for his people and the remnants of the Aslanti, these rocks were barren with life, marred with the salt from the bottom of the seas, and inhospitable to any who would dare try to live their shores. And
So without the towers, would the stone sink back down?
Well, the towers were the tools that Erodin used to seed life into the Starstone Isles, that turned them from barren rock to fertile soil and lands to farm and provide for its people. Their
So without
purpose
them?
Oh, when I'm leaving.
Yeah, me too. Good call. I'm out of here.
Thank you, knight, sir.
And seemingly not even noticing, still talking to Barkbeard. Their purpose has largely passed. They are but a relic of Erodin's gift to this land and its people.
So we should not be as concerned if they are getting attacked.
What about his greatest gift? Was it called the Star Stone itself?
The Starstone. The history of the Starstone is an equally interesting bit of lore, and it goes back far further than Erodin himself. You see, and he starts just going into the history of the Starstone, the meteor that landed in 5293 BC, which was the event that destroyed the Aslanti and the Thassalon empires and wiped out the Cyclopes, and he's just going. And he will literally go.
Will he go to? Do they know where it is?
The Starstone?
Is it
Everyone knows what a Starstone is. That's not a secret.
It's public knowledge then.
Yeah. The Starstone is in the middle of a massive cathedral at the heart of Absalom. That's one of the primary attractions. The Starstone Cathedral, the center of the city at the heart of the world, is one of the main attractions Absalom has. Absolutely everybody knows where it is. It is on a landmass in the center of the city, separated from the city itself by a chasm, a massive split in the earth that seems to descend unending, with no bridge or passage. And crossing that gap is said to be the first step of the test. But the Starstone is an artifact that has turned 3 people into gods so far. And supposedly any who pass the test to make it to the heart of the cathedral and lay hands on the Starstone for its final test become gods. Iomadai did it, Nethys did it, Norgorber did it. All that'd be common knowledge.
Zerg wants to do it.
And Caden Killian did it. I think it was Iomadai, not Norgorber. Iomadai, not Nethys, Iomadai, Norgorber, and Caden Killian were the 3 that did it. Zerg would definitely fall in the Caden pile. Caden just got really drunk and his buddy bet him, you won't go touch the Starstone, and blackout drunk when he came to his senses, he was a god, and he's like,
I would, moron.
and it's like, I gotta go now. I'm a god now. Oh, Caden Kalian. But literally, unless you interrupted Ezekiel with the further question, he would actually just keep going on that
Yeah, no.
endlessly.
I leave. I
Yeah, you guys are gone. It's just Barkbeard
Yeah,
and
no,
Artemis.
I can hear them echoing.
And sorry.
I
I'm
would just
speeding
listen.
up.
So as he spends an hour or so recounting that history of the Starstone, Selwyn and Ara, as you head back out into town, what's your plan? Is it to go to the woodworking district and see the Moonstone Hall for yourself? Or just a relative assumption?
Yeah.
Someone go
Have a
look
look.
for it.
Yeah. Let's see if we can locate it at least.
Sounds good to me. A lot better than sitting there listening to him talk forever.
Oh,
and
for
ever.
sure.
Barkbeard's bad enough.
It's getting relatively late. The sun's starting to head down. You got an hour or so before sunset, but Escadar's not that big of a city. And you make your way through the streets out to the eastern districts. And the eastern neighborhoods of Escadar are... You guys remember the Narrows from War for the Crown? The woodworking district is not a fantastic place. It is overcrowded tenements, drug houses, and it's barely patrolled because the constables literally cannot spare guards to even try to stand up to the gangs that run this whole side of the city.
And maybe we'll meet Sniggles' friends.
It's not a great place. But in a courtyard off to a side of a fairly deserted street, where here, oddly, would be the quietest areas of Escadar, where there's the least hawkers, street merchants, and vendors, urchins. Most of the people here in the woodworkers district are in their buildings, their own homes, their own porches, very much minding their own business. But there would be a pretty visible statue of a mermaid, a dry and crumbling fountain depicting the mermaid herself placed there. And guess what have art? It looked like this.
It might be the mermaid.
So as
I'm a
you
genius.
approach this statue, which has a fairly large sinkhole next to it, it's visible as you approach. There's a metal fence that has been set up around the sinkhole in the fountain itself. 4 constables dressed in uniforms, hands on their glaives, stood at a fairly relaxed attention, stand kind of near the fountain, just watching. And as you're about the only ones here at this moment making your way down towards the fountain, the 2 nearest you look your direction as you approach.
I wave.
I'll wave.
And they just nod briefly. But as you come closer, one of them holds up a hand as the other kind of steps forward and readjusts his grip. Oh, there. This is all closed off.
Why?
The sinkhole leads to a cavern that's likely dangerous, and it's under investigation at the moment. No one's allowed down there unless they're on official business.
Uncovering ancient artifacts, is that official business?
Oh, not unless you've been sent here by the head constable themselves. Sorry, I can't let you through.
All right.
Oh, that sounds easy enough.
We should have a conversation with the head constable, yeah.
But at least we found it.
We did.
We're so good at this.
So, you just, all right, and just head out?
Yep.
Leaving. You would make it back to the circus grounds late in the afternoon. I'd imagine around the same time that Arabis, Barkbeard, and Zerg finally made their way out from the monastery to come back to meet you. And as the group of you reconvene as evening sets in, I don't know that there's much else you can do with what time there is left of the day. And it's not too much, unfortunately. But Arabis can regale you with the history of the Starstone if you want to listen. And
Nope.
Selwyn and Ara could easily share with the rest of the party that you had found what may be the entrance to Moonstone Hall and that it is shut down to any unofficial business.
Yep.
by the constabulary, which means
I don't
B&B
know.
the simulator. Yeah, my
Oh.
favorite part of this game.
DMV simulator. So,
I'm going to
after
bed.
after your night's rest, Selwyn's will slowly crumpling. You guys awaken the next morning for another exciting day of DMV action. And as you head down, once again, request Lieutenant Constable's presence. Gonna take her about 3 hours to clear some time for you in her schedule. She'll be able to meet with you around noon. And at this point, becoming just dull to the pain that is unending suffering at the hands of bureaucracy.
Oh, I am not becoming dull to it at all. It is very acute.
Can I just go outside and put on a street show?
Yeah, you can absolutely go outside and just entertain some passersby. Why don't you make me a perform check? Just for science.
Ooh, just for science. I scienced a 17.
With a 17. Let me find thing real quick because this never actually gets to happen. It's so rare.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Man, I'm archives and this. Come on. Why do you
You can
take
do it.
10 years to load anything? You can do it. I freaking believe in you. There we go. That's what it's called. You are 5th level. And with the 17, in your couple hours out here in the street, you would get a couple tips, a couple coins tossed your way, and you'd come back 4 copper pieces richer, Ara.
I get 4 copper pieces to sell one.
I blink.
You made 1 copper an hour out there.
That's false. 1.33 a copper an hour.
3 hours, that's right. That's right, it's 4 hours is last wait.
Yeah, idiot.
So he comes back in, excited, hands you a couple of coins, and then once again, Senior Constable Holden comes out to greet you, and kind of with a smirk on his face. I brought the whole gang this time. Starting to make a habit out of this. You know you can make appointments further in advance.
I didn't realize I'd be back here so soon.
Well,
It's
come
not
on
that
back.
bad.
Oh, you're right. It's horrible.
And as he leaves to grip you back through the walkways in that second waiting area, he's like, go ahead and have a seat. We'll come get you when she's ready. It won't be too long, I hope.
Yeah, fucking
And,
better be.
Pokes his head in the door, says some stuff, closes the door, and just kind of folds his hands and stands there and waits in the hallway with you. So, you got more circus business? You moving on already?
No. It's not circus business. We just need to go down a sinkhole.
Not a sinkhole.
Underneath the mermaid statue.
I think I've heard about this actually. You doing one of those kind of underground sort of speakeasy things, one of those secret performances, try and get that exclusive edge?
What?
That's a good idea.
Those people, you know, they hold their little parties and their dances and, you know, condemned warehouses and old run-down bits of the sewer system or somewhere off the warehouse in the docks hasn't been used or hasn't been used that night, you know. I'm trying to attract a younger audience. They got a name for him, but I can't think of what it is.
I have no idea.
Well, sounds like my guess is well off the mark then. What could you possibly mean with a sinkhole?
Method
That's right,
acting.
definitely. I'm not the one you gotta convince. Lieutenant Mandrad's the one who's gonna hear the story. Only her and the senior sergeant are the only ones authorized to give people access down there. Heck, I
Right.
even gotta get my papers in order if I'm gonna go down there just to oversee the place. That mermaid statue, I guess I shouldn't really talk about it, actually. Anyway, so, how's the business been? What do circus folk do outside of performances?
I just made 4 copper.
Well,
So precious.
Very
Oh,
hard
Chris.
for you. It was
Kind of
nice.
nods. Well, that's very good. You gotta make that side money somewhere. What, you got part-time jobs in town somewhere?
I walked outside and copied what I seen in the circus.
Oh, street performance. That's a good idea. I've seen a couple of them around. I never got any loose coins on me that I'm not bringing out for some other purpose to offer, though. But, hey, that's good that's working out. Escadar is a great place for that kind of stuff. You're right at home here.
I don't like this city.
No one does.
Oh, well, that's not entirely fair.
I didn't say it to you.
Well, it's got its dark parts, but, I mean, so does every city. I mean, heck, Absalom's about half run by gangs and mafias at this point. I'd like to think we at least do a good job of keeping our stuff a bit better in order than that.
I
Besides,
find this place very pleasant, actually. So far, the sights around town are really very magnificent, I would say.
She meets the women. Like, he
Are you
meets
talking
the women,
about
sorry.
that lady you saw the other day?
All
Well,
of
the
it,
sights or the
actually, I
women,
would
whatever
say.
you fancy. Escadar's definitely got you filled there. That's no question. I just to use a bit of caution there. A lot of those brothels they run, especially down near the docks, are a bit underground, not entirely licensed, but there isn't so much we can do about it without a
How
whole
are they
bunch of red tape.
They're underground.
Well, part of me was underground as for most of my life also, so I wouldn't worry about it.
That's because of your root system, right?
Exactly.
So the brothels have a root system that goes under the ground.
I think it's taking a little bit too literal than it is. It's underground, like they don't got the paperwork in order. They're not really working on the up and up, you know.
Oh.
Not exactly
So
throwing it
I'd-
straight.
Quite. Well, I am quite enjoying the city here. It's really not a bad place.
Well, it's good to hear. It's good to hear. We do our best.
And those warships are actually really magnificent.
They're pretty impressive. I, unfortunately, constabulary, I don't have any kind of military connection or anything here. But when I was a young lad, and growing up in here, I always, they almost got me to the Absalonian Navy just with how impressive the looking those boats are. And, could have been a different life, could have been a different life.
Yes, I'm aware of this. You see, when I was a young boy, my father, he took me to the city, and we saw a street performer. It was fucking depressing. Things is different now.
Well, the group of you are more or less street performers yourselves, aren't you?
Things change.
Well, I guess it may have laid some kind of a seed deep down inside you. It's always funny how that kind of stuff turns out, I mean, nobody growing up is really cheering on the schoolyard about wanting to grow up and become a butcher or a leather worker. Really, it just it kind of happens. Or
Or the
guard for that matter.
Stormborn. Or you could be the Stormborn, I guess.
I didn't really grow up.
Yes.
I just exist.
Fucking depressing.
Want to see a magic trick?
Oh, sure.
I cast Prestidigitation.
What do you do? Prestidigitation, just kind of a wide blanket.
Oh no, sorry. I summoned Frederick.
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
You summoned Frederick out. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
So you bring out this glowing light here into the hall. It kind of looks at it. This soft kind of red ember glowing out across the hallway. Now, if I let you do that, and that scorches any of the paneling here, I'm going to get in trouble. That thing's not going to burn anything, is it?
Oh, Frederick's nice. He wouldn't burn nothing.
Like, Frederick, is it? Interesting, man. I've always been impressed by magic, but I've never had even a little bit of curiosity into looking at how stuff works. It just seems like, either you're born with it or you spend your entire life just trying to get like the slightest little bits of it, right? It's like dedicating your whole life that might add up to nothing.
I don't understand it really either. It's just kind of part of you.
So I've heard. I had a merchant coming through here, actually, I believe. He came down from Varesia, and I don't know what he was stopping in Escadar for. He's on his way down to Absalom, but he came a bit out of his way to stop here, meet somebody or something. He was telling me a little bit about it. You ever seen any of those Well, the
Necromancer?
No, not like a Varisian wizard. The Varisian mages, they got the tattoos all up and down their body, and they draw their magic out of them. They literally have a method of tattooing spells on themselves, and we just got to talking. He was coming through because something about his boat hadn't checked out right, and he had to stand waiting for a bit while the dockmaster was clearing everything, and we just got to talking, and it's incredible what they can do. You can take a spell that could, I mean, the Navy could take that to war and sink entire ships with it, and he just got it tattooed right inside the palm of his hand. It's
That's
amazing.
scary.
That'd be terrifying. I can't imagine the kind of life that's like. That's rough. That's rough.
I mean, fortunately, cannons work quite well also. So, I mean, I wouldn't sell yourself short.
No, we're going to be here all day.
Yes.
No, not all day. Lieutenant's just wrapping up with something, getting some paperwork in order. She wasn't expecting to see you so soon either. Which reminds me, if you got fairly regular business in here, it may be in your interest to just set up an appointment a week or two in advance. And I mean, you can always
We didn't realize that we'd be here so soon.
Still would not be a bad idea. I feel like we may come in here more than we think.
Hey, if situations change, you can always cancel it later. Still though, cannons. Have you actually seen a ship with cannons? And all the ships out in the harbors, they wouldn't have cannons. They have ballista and catapults.
Oh, no, I haven't, but I've heard about them. I've heard that they're very exciting, very loud. I actually was trying to find one for a circus.
I heard some sailors, apparently way out to the west, there is a nation out in the open seas that's run entirely by pirates. It sounds crazy, but they got their own like pirate government, like a pirate president, and they just it's pirates all the way down. And they actually have ships loaded with cannons. No one's really sure where exactly they came from, but I mean, if you're gonna have a pirate nation on the coast, you got to be pretty much unassailable by sea, right? So you got to have the biggest ships, or else, I mean, if not the Absalonian Navy, there's the Chilaxian or even the Varisian. I'm surprised the Rahadumi haven't come there to deal with it, just because they're so close. But
so you've never seen a cannon, then?
Well, no, I guess I haven't really. I mean, I've heard about them.
I feel like a cannon would be a great addition to our circus. I mean, but if it's so rare, I wonder if we could make one.
You might want to go out and talk to some pirates then. Maybe they'll give you a good deal.
Someone,
just hope
that's
they
a great
trade you
idea.
instead of
I
taking
feel
all your
like
coin.
the next thing we should do is go talk to the pirates. I feel like that's a great idea. This man knows what he's talking about.
Why would you want to talk to pirates?
I really
never
We
wouldn't
got the
suggest
cannon,
it.
obviously.
I feel like you could cannons elsewhere.
Ah.
In fact, I will bet you the pirates have stolen them.
Oh, I mean, they are pirates, so it makes sense, I suppose.
Want to see another magic trick?
Sure, little boy. What you got?
I summon a Leshy.
You just summoned an entire second Leshy.
Third. There's 3 of us now.
Oh, I guess, yeah, Barkbeard, so an entire third Leshy. He just kind of looks. Now, I want to be honest. I've seen a lot of swords come and go through the harbors, but I've never seen walking plants before. And this is the. I kind of feel like this is something maybe I shouldn't have been watching. Is this wow?
And then I have that
Impressive
Leshy.
world.
I have that Leshy climb on the back of Barkbeard, and I climb on top of it.
I'm leaning over to Selwyn. He's always trying to upstage me. Selwyn, can I do magic trick?
Wait, wait, hold up a second. How is he trying to upstage you? By becoming taller than you?
It's not taller than me. It's just Leshies and Leshies and Leshies. Always showing off.
I mean, yeah, sure, go for it. Like, do your magic trick.
Are you sure?
Are you not?
Okay. I can show magic trick too.
Yes, do it. Show him up. Show your worth.
He kind of
Woo.
glances towards the door and back to you. Okay, I mean, might as well get him out of our system now. I know we had a couple of circus performers in here a couple of years back trying to get some stuff in order for the menagerie, and tried to show the lieutenant something, and she wasn't not too keen on all the tricks being performed in her office there. But you know, I mean, I feel like I'm not what everyone would turn at this point, right?
That's fair. That's fair. So I'm currently a scooch up on the chair, feet on the chair, hands on the chair, just barefoot, obviously, as I am always, and just sort of like scrunch up together real quick, and I make eye contact with the guy, and I start growling. At him. And then I turn into a black wolf with blue highlights.
And then you completely transform into a wolf.
Yeah.
And he will physically step back at that and look down. I mean, obviously assuming it's something that you did there. Magic is crazy. Oh.
You're
How long
telling
did
me.
a lot of you in town for? You gonna put on another show?
Probably, yeah.
Do you is this? Hold on. There was a group of bards actually that had come through here that were doing a sort of tour thing, and they had like a schedule. Maybe if I know further in advance, I could come take a look. I mean, I heard that your show was fantastic the other night, and I honestly would love to come by and see some.
Well, what about like 2 weeks from now? Are we doing anything? Or is that too far out?
When's our next show?
Is that too close?
Not the real long-term planning sort of people. I see. That's all. I get it. Running a circus has got to be a mess, honestly, with everything that you're trying to keep in order. Well, with supplies and then all your different performers.
Yes, it's
and
quite
acts and-
hard, but I manage the best I can. Trying to organize this stuff.
Being
I don't know
managed,
how-
yeah.
You get time to do hardly anything around, practicing what's got to be all kinds of crazy tricks that you can do with this magic and these powers of yours here.
Trust
I mean,
me, the
it kinda-
tricks are the least of it.
It kind of looks back to Zerg. So, what do you do then? You got magic?
Yeah, check this out.
Flex.
Pretty fucking magical, huh?
Well, job notwithstanding, I certainly wouldn't be happy to come across you in a dark alley.
Nor would you. I don't go out at night very often.
So you're a strongman sort? You like the big lifting
Yes.
and all that?
Yes.
Those, I mean, magic's its own thing, obviously, but it's always kind of been like so, I don't know, so wild, so unpredictable, so impossible to understand. It's always been the strongman acts that were the ones that got me when I was young, and when I had time to go stop by and see these kind of things, because it's just discipline. It's just physical training, regimen, and it's just personal power, really. And honestly, that's what always got me.
I like you. You get it. Nobody else here gets it. They think Zerg, he born strong, as if I haven't put years of work into perfecting this. You get
Zerg,
this.
Are you blushing, Zerg? Man,
Shut up. It's hot in here. It's hot.
It
So are you
is-
born strong?
He's born
It's
with
very warm. Shut up. Stop looking at me. Talk to him. Don't you look at me in that tone of voice.
Hey, I'm not trying to run nothing bad by you or nothing here. It's impressive. I've always had a whole lot of respect for a man that is really honed to personal craft. It's the
Thank you.
whole body is a temple thing, right? Because I mean, it's not even just the constant working and the practicing. You gotta have the right diet. You gotta make sure that you're keeping up. You can't take breaks from that.
You get it. Nobody else gets this. You
I get
this.
exhausted with just the basic training, just the basic PT we got with the constabulary. I can't imagine trying to set up for a circus performance just based on raw strength alone.
Now put on top of my excessive training regimen and watching what I eat, I've got to put up tents, got to carry things around. It's very difficult. You'll get this.
Zerg, I thought you ate whatever you put your hands on.
Did I ask you? No, I did not ask.
He also uses a lot of oil.
It's necessary.
It is
Well,
an
that's-
exuberant amount
That's
of
just
oil.
bodybuilding 101, though, isn't it? It just makes the muscles show off a little more.
Thank you.
He
Thank
used
you.
all the
yes.
oil one time before a show, and my rings didn't catch on fire.
All the oil. If you bought more oil, maybe this not be problem.
Well, they don't give me money to buy oil with.
Selwood.
And then
Oh,
that the
wow.
door finally opens.
All right, fine. I'll increase your fucking oil budget.
Come on in. Oh, your pleasure. Your pleasure every time. Come on, take your seats. And motions you all in through the door. As you finally let in to Lieutenant Madron's office once more. And you all take your seats around, and she looks, I got even more than the first time you came in. I suppose, go ahead and just grab some of the chairs from around the outside of the room. Sorry, I wasn't far from prepared for a meeting of this scale, but we'll make it work as we can.
Yep.
And the senior constable stands behind her. Everyone kind of pulls some stuff together and finds some places to sit. Sits around the table. So,
I just want to wander around the room.
No, that's cool. You can stand up. You don't have to sit down.
Yeah.
And she looks across the group of you and then to Selwyn. Well, I must admit I hadn't been expecting to hear back from you so soon.
And nor I. However, we have found need recently.
I truly hope that this isn't in the same vein as what you told me yesterday. You haven't had any more trouble with.
No. Well, yes and no.
Thank God.
Not. They're doing their jobs. That's the problem. You have a sinkhole next to a mermaid statue. Yes.
Yes, I actually believe I'm familiar with what you're talking about. It's been a sign of problem for some years, and seeing as it seems near impossible to actually fill in or close off properly or get much of anything put through in a reasonably expedient manner, it's just had to be guarded. Why?
Right.
What is it? Do you know something?
No, but we would like to go down there and clear whatever's in there for you.
I must admit that that's unexpected. May I ask why?
We have some information, circus business that pointed us in that direction anyway. So we figured we could do you a favor meanwhile.
You want to check out Moonstone Hall for some reason, I take it.
Yes.
All right. Well, the main purpose of the guards is to keep the area free of smugglers and other criminals, as the hall itself has been abandoned long enough that it's just become a relic, and with that sinkhole having opened up not too long ago, we figured it was too prime a location to allow to become a drug den or something else. It feels disrespectful, you know? And besides, it'd be difficult to root out from there. I will tell you there's not much more we've given it than a cursory exploration. What must have been 14, 15 months back at this point. We've been trying to get that hole filled in for over a year.
Why are you trying to close the hole exactly? Isn't it if you know about the Moonstone Hall, isn't it an entrance? What's wrong with it?
Well, it is, but the hall has been abandoned for centuries, and at this point is just derelict and, well, largely served its purpose. It's a temple to a rodent, and, well, not much use for a temple to a dead god these days.
Couldn't you just put a grate over it or something? Do you have to fill it in? I mean, what if you need to later go and search it out?
Well,
You never know.
doing any of those things, well, it's not exactly my station or my area of jurisdiction, so that has to go through the proper channels. The paperwork has to be filled out and approved and passed up the chain, and crews have to be arranged, and it's really a lot more work than you would imagine. An impressive amount more work than you would imagine it is to get even something as a metal grate laid over the top of it.
I see. Well, if you ever think it's less work than filling it in with a lot of dirt that has to be shipped in and dug up and moved, and then the laborers to fill it in again, I mean, if you think so, I mean, it must be quite a large hole.
Well, I'll tell you what then. For whatever your reasons, if you are I mean, I know it's you, so if something happens down there, I'll have this signed. I am willing to draft you up. Constable Holden, can you gather me some writs, please? And he nods and heads out of the room. I'm willing to write you up a quick writ of agreement giving you permission to head down through the sinkhole into Moonstone Hall itself and to ensure that it is safe on behalf of myself and the Escadar Constabulary.
Mm-hmm. Wow, this was significantly easier than I thought it was going to be.
All right.
Well, I have no real reason to keep specific people out. We just don't want it devolving into a criminal haven it's near impossible for us to do anything with. Truth be told, we have enough of that already. Now, I will admit this is a very surprisingly convenient break for me. I'd almost forgotten about this. I've been trying to do something with Moonstone Hall for some time now, and being able to, well, retain my guards if the area is safe be much easier, and we'll have to send nearly as much manpower, like a single sentry will do. So, right then. You aren't looking to destroy the place, are you?
No.
No major refurbishings, revamps, maybe rearranging anything, knocking any walls. You're not aiming to build any construction yourself, or, God forbid, host any of your circus shows or anything.
Oh, no.
Okay, so if all that is by the wayside then I don't believe I'll really need any kind of permissions here. I should be able to just hand this over to you myself. That's fair enough. Okay. And at this point, Constable Holden comes back in with a smile on his face, and he has a couple of scrolls in his hands, and plays them on the desk, and then takes his position back behind the lieutenant again. Just, thank you, Holden. All right, so 2 copies of these then. I'll enroll them, and these are... You've done a good job with the land that we gave you for the circus, and, well, I've no reason at the moment not to mistrust you, though this is a very strange and extenuating circumstance. And she starts kind of writing. These are going to be fairly loose, but I imagine unless your circus operation is some massive cover for something the likes of which I can't even begin to fathom, it won't be difficult to find you if I need to, so I... Right, and puts that down, starts writing on the second one. If this turns out to be a poor decision on my behalf, it will come for you, Selwyn.
It won't be.
I'm just kind of smiling, like half joking.
Yeah.
As she keeps writing. All right. Next back across the 2. All right, fair enough. On behalf of myself, Lieutenant Constable Saray Madrad, explicit permission for Selwyn. Do you have a last name? Right.
Just
no, we
Selwyn.
covered this before. Just Selwyn.
Yeah.
Selwyn and her party, be they mercenaries, bodyguards, or the like, to assist and gain unfettered access to Moonstone Hall and to the sinkhole in the Woodworkers District. Yep, looks good on both. All right, can you go ahead and sign both of these for me, please, Selwyn? And hands you the pen.
I'll sign him.
And she turns them back around and signs them herself, and then slides them over, and Holden steps forward and signs them both also, and then just nods. It's gonna be a bit of a weird adventure, isn't it? Still, after what you showed me in the hallway, I've got no need to question any of your motives or capabilities, really. And the lieutenant nods. Right. Whenever your reasons, this, well, happens to coincide with the interest of the city, so I have no problem granting you this access. Just show this to the guards in the sinkhole, and they should let you through.
All right, thank you.
Selwyn.
Yes?
While you are dealing with this, if you do need my aid for something of these matters, do feel free to tell the secretary up front that the matters do concern Moonstone Hall, and I'll be certain to get you back here a little quicker.
Sweet. That's the best news I've heard all day.
I can't imagine you spent probably at least an entire day waiting for a schedule to clear up so far, and you've only been here, well, a little more than a week.
Yeah, it's been going swimmingly.
Well, hopefully that continues, and best of luck. It, as far as we can tell, should be empty for now. We believe that we had this sinkhole guarded pretty cleanly, unless they have some sort of backdoor to it, but I, again, need to restate that we haven't really properly searched the place recently, and if there is another way in, it's very possible that there's some, well, possibly violent criminals or worse down there. So, be careful.
Yeah, of course.
Aura falls out of his seat.
And the senior constable and the lieutenant just both kind of look at you as you tip over on the floor. Is he okay? We need to call a medic.
He's okay.
Well then, best of luck to you, and I eagerly await any news that you have. And so, successful. The group of you finally make your way out of Conclave Center with writs in full, one writ, in fact. She keeps a copy and gave you the other one that you can take all the way back. Are you going straight over to the Woodworkers District?
I believe we would, yes. Right? We have no reason not to.
Yeah. I have everything ready.
So everyone heads over, and you approach as a different set of guards this time. It's a new shift, obviously, a new day, and fairly early in the afternoon. They stop you as they had before. This time a woman steps up. Sorry, area's off limits.
Yeah, we got a permit this time.
Permit. Let me take a look then. I get up there and she scrolls it out and looks. Just kind of shows it to the guard next to her. They just kind of nod. Well, as far as I can tell, looks like the lieutenant's writing. Fair enough then. And hands it back to you. I suppose we should let you know. It's definitely not abandoned.
No, we don't expect it would be.
We've
If you
heard
hear
some.
any screaming, or anything, don't worry about it. Well, things are moving along.
Well, I imagine it's hopefully just rats, at the worst, particularly large ones. But we've heard some scratching and clinking metal from echoing up the stairwell here, and I mean, hopefully it's nothing. But you have a lantern of some kind. It is fair dark down there.
Frederick, if you might make an appearance.
I summon Frederick.
Have you summoned Frederick up? And they're like, oh, well, that'll certainly do. Well, the wizard will certainly fare a sight better than we would. And she just kind of steps aside and gestures to the hall.
All right, well,
On we go, I guess.
walking in.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess I'll just walk right in.
Not gonna wait to be invited.
And the group of you descend to the top of this sinkhole that has collapsed away. Seems to near immediately give way to an ancient stone staircase, making its way down the curve, winding into the darkness beyond. And with that, I suppose we end our week's session. And next week, when we come back, we head into Moonstone Hall proper. Knowing that, well, there's probably Trog activity down here. What do they want? Don't know. What else might be down there? Don't know. The point is, we're going to go down. We're going to get to, theoretically, just murder the absolute hell out of some Trogs. And Zerg is going to get the great cathartic monkey pounding that he has been waiting for. If they are, hopefully, still here. Almost literally anything. It's Galarian, and it's a defunct, thousands of years old temple to Erodin in a fantasy tabletop game. Boy, you know some shenanigans await us next week. Chet, thank you all for being here. Thank you for hanging out. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. We will see you all next Monday, same time, same place, 4 p.m. Eastern, right here. For some stuff. And I'll be live tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern time, with not Pathfinder content, playing. I'm honestly not positive what.
Oberdin.
That sounds like a fun game.
Oberdin is still on the list of things I should do.
I really just want to see it.
I should try it. I gotta look at it. Is it on the Steam Summer Sale? Let me see if it's on the Summer Sale.
It should be.
Regardless,
It's pretty cheap, I think.
everyone, we will see you later.